Good day guys, welcome back to your English Aussie. Sorry, I think we had a few problems just a minute ago with the stream. I had to pull it down, restart everything, and now hopefully we look like we are back and things are up and running smoothly. We're going to run through a few stuff today. We'll go through the press conference updates. We will go through the Game Week 18 sort of tactical observations, which I'm sure you guys have seen in previous videos. We'll talk through the statistical analysis on all the best players statistically for the Game Week. We'll also be doing team reviews for any of you that would like your teams reviewed or transfers that you would like done. We might also go through the chip strategy for this chip strategy for the latest chips, including back up and running if we still get some problems. Perhaps I'll have to change some things again. I'm back. Nice. Okay, that's good. Yeah, hopefully this stays on at the moment. I have got a few issues, even just pulling up the video on screen. Hopefully it carries on working, and we're back live now. I'll try and talk through team news while I'm fixing this. Leicester, obviously, we have Jamie Vardy is likely to be available for this week. Ndidi and Fatawu are out, and Hermanson has also been said to be out this week. Outside of that, we have Fez as doubtful. He picked up a knock in the previous game week for Leicester, and he is still doubtful for this week. Yeah, I am struggling with the video at the moment. I think there are some issues that we need to work through on this stream while we're going. So sorry guys, please bear with me at the moment. There are a few difficulties. I will try and sort things out as soon as possible. I'll try and keep talking as much as I can. Man City, there are some same sort, no real updates for the Man City teams really. Diaz still injured for the next sort of 3 to 4 weeks. Stones is likely not going to be ready again this week, and Edison and Nunez are still being assessed. From the Everton side of things, McNeil is still a possibility. He has sort of still been yeah, I'm not visible at the moment in the top right. I know. I think it's struggling to pick up the camera at the moment and stabilize the screen at the same time, the stream at the same time, which is a bit of a problem for me. However, you don't need to see my face, so you know we can keep going. That is not hugely important in the world, really. Let's just talk about what's happening. So yeah, McNeil possibility, 50-50, still touch and go. It's okay, my voice is enough. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'll try and fix it as and when I can, but for the time being, I guess we'll just have to work with what we've got. Yeah, so Everton, Young returns from suspension as well this week. So we do have him back for Everton defensively, which is good news. Garner and Orogunam are still both injured, and Ndiaye, who did pick up a calf strain in the previous game against Man City, is a possible but may not necessarily be available. I think they seem to think it was quite likely that he would be playing. They thought it was just a precaution that they were doing that for, and they're hoping that he will be back for this game week. And I think we have video. Wow, that was something. Alright, nice one guys. Hopefully we're back now, and hopefully we'll be back up and running properly for the rest of the video. I sort of just restarted a few things, so we'll try and continue to keep going while working through some technical updates. Nottingham Forest, Yates is suspended this week. Danilo was said to be out still by Nuno. He obviously, we thought he was back in training after previous press conference updates. Seems like he suffered a bit of a setback and will be out. Sangare also out for Nottingham Forest. West Ham, Fabianski obviously suffered that head injury, and that was obviously a problem for him. He's unlikely to be taking part in this Liverpool game. It is likely that Areola will jump back into goal for West Ham. I don't think this is a huge issue from like a West Ham standpoint, tactical standpoint for them. Areola was obviously previously their first choice goalkeeper, so now to go down to sort of to bring him back shouldn't be too much of a problem. Paqueta also returns from suspension. Will be good to see him back for West Ham in that midfield, and they will need him given that Souček and Rodriguez are now suspended for this Liverpool game. That is both of West Ham's, with also Carlos Soler being unlikely after suffering a small injury. That is all three of West Ham's starting midfielders last week not able to play this week against Liverpool. I think Souček not being available is actually quite a tricky predicament for them. I think he's someone who they work really well with when there are long balls being played out to relieve the pressure. Souček often is able to sort of get up and sort of win those headers, knock down the ball, and be able to be someone who really helps West Ham when they are being killed in sort of possession, which is something that obviously Liverpool have been doing quite well at sort of taking the possession game to the oppositions. Liverpool, we have Szoboszlai suspended for this game week. A lot of their players have been coming back from injury. Obviously Jota, Chiesa, McAllister, all of these guys have made it back. Elliott and Tsimikas as well. Bradley and Konate have been mentioned to be out and will not be back for the upcoming game week. It seems like they're not back in training at all yet. Who are you going with in terms of captain this week, and do you mind recommending a transfer, or should I roll? Look, I should probably know your team ID off by heart by now, mate. Can't remember what your exact team is, to be honest. If you can chuck it in, I will try and get it up on the screen. It might take a little bit of time for me at the moment, as I'm still sort of getting those background screens up, as everything sort of kicked the bucket. I'll talk about who I'm going for in terms of captain this week. In the meantime, I think it was quite a close call this week. Obviously, with Liverpool up against West Ham and Chelsea up against Ipswich, which is sort of the Palmer and Salah games, who are probably your sort of two main captaincy options, along with Isak, who plays Man United. I think personally it wasn't a straightforward decision, but I find it really difficult to go against Mo Salah. He's just been in such sensational form. Also with those sort of West Ham injuries and suspensions, with Souček and Rodriguez definitely being out, Fabianski again being out, I don't think huge, but definitely a slight difference maker. And then Soler being potentially out, that could be three of West Ham starting midfield all out. And really we're sort of only looking at Paqueta coming back into that team. So I just like that as an option for Liverpool, with Souček obviously being able to, with not being around, to be able to win those sort of long balls, direct play from West Ham to get out. I do think that Liverpool are going to have a lot of possession against them. I'm actually planning on leaving Jared Bowen on my bench this week because I think it's not a nice fixture for him. That is, I think, probably my biggest call of this week for my own team. Just looking at your team, Finners, Sales, Trent, Robbo, Mazraoui against Newcastle, Mikalenko, Greaves on the bench. McNeil, still got McNeil in there. Maddison, Salah, Palmer, Ahmad. Yeah, I think it's probably the defence that you're looking at the moment. Like, you've obviously got Trent and Robinson, which is nice. Sells is good as the goalkeeper spot. I think your midfield, Maddison's likely to start this week. Salah and Palmer obviously keeps, and Ahmad, I think there's no reason necessarily to bring him out. You're thinking of bringing an Arsenal defender, you got 4.1 mil in the bank. Yeah, I would love to get in Gabriel, to be honest. I think if you could even potentially, tough to say who I'd go for. I think it would be Mazraoui I would replace, to be honest. Luca, hey mate, nice to see you on the channel. Thank you very much. Hopefully you can hopefully you will enjoy this channel, and we can help you along your FPL journey in the future. If you do have any comments or issues with your own team, happy to get your team up on the screen. We can talk through as well. But yeah, Finners, I think Mazraoui out to a Gabriel is a defensive transfer that I really like. This week, obviously, a difficult one with Arsenal up against Brentford at home. So not necessarily the week that I think you have to do that in, but definitely one change that you could make to sort of help your team in the future. I think with Everton up against Nottingham Forest, there is a discussion to sort of play Mikalenko this week in your team. You can sort of play him, Trent, Robinson, Mazraoui to the bench against Newcastle, Ahmad, Maddison, Salah, Palmer, Isak, Wood, Cunha, roll the transfer and just give yourself a little bit of an option for next week. Like maybe there becomes some sort of bigger ticket items that you're going to need to change. And that, at the moment, as we've seen with this sort of Saka injury, has sort of really put a spanner in the work of a lot of people's teams, and having to make changes. I think Mazraoui realistically is going to be a good transfer out next week as well. He'll be coming out, but they're playing Liverpool as well, so expect Liverpool to score against Man United at the moment. And then that sort of just gives you the option. Maybe you want to move. Maybe you're comfortable with Everton again against Bournemouth. Maybe you want to move McNeil or Ahmad into somebody and be a little bit attacking. So I think it's just what you think this week. If you'd rather have Gabriel against Brentford at home, who've obviously been really good at home this season, or if you'd rather play Mikalenko up against Nottingham Forest, I think obviously Nottingham Forest are going to have to break down that Everton stubborn defence. It's not going to be a case of them sort of counter-attacking, which is where they're at their biggest strength. So this might be a game for Chris Wood also. I think for me, I'd probably go Mazraoui to Gabriel. What's your gut telling you? What would you do? Yeah, I think I'd go Mazraoui to Gabriel. My main reason because I just think Gabriel is a really nice offensive threat, as we saw last week from that corner. And if he does grab a goal, he's likely to get some bonus points. Although, yeah, Charlie, I agree. Everton have been really solid in defence lately. And I don't mind playing Mykolenko, but I think I'd just go for that Arsenal defence. I slightly prefer it. And to be honest, I could even be a lot on board with putting Robinson on the bench, playing Mykolenko, Gabriel, and Trent. Yeah, Arsenal obviously great off set pieces, so very good from headers. Footballers, hey bro, how you going? Good to see you. Just going through those comments. Chris, I will get to yours as well, mate. Nick, would you swap Bruno for someone else or roll a transfer? By the way, good head-to-head last week. Yeah, Nick beat me by 1 point in head-to-head last week. And I'm saying it's because he saw who I benched and who I didn't bench last week because he was watching my live stream, which is completely cheating, mate. I think that's totally unfair of you. Would I swap Bruno if someone else will roll a transfer? Honestly, there's not a lot of great options at that price point. And it's kind of a decision that I'm making at the moment because I've obviously got Saka in my team still. I haven't sold him. I'm going to sell him today, and I think I'm going to go for Anthony Gordon. And the reason behind that is I look at Newcastle's next 3 games, and let me just break this down for you guys. Newcastle will be Man United with a suspended Bruno Fernandes, their main player. Newcastle will be Tottenham with no defenders. They've got so many injuries. Then Newcastle will be Wolves with pretty possible that Cunha, their best player, is suspended by then. That's 3 games where the opposition are basically missing their key players, all in a row. And then they've got Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham, Man City, and then Nottingham Forest, who, I mean, all not terrible games. So yeah, I like Anthony Gordon. I think I've been looking quite a lot at the stats as well as sort of looking at the games and the fixtures, who's in form as well. Been trying to make a decision. I got down to sort of Gordon, going back to Brian and Bumo, or thinking about an Enzo potentially. And also Jacob Murphy, but the minutes for me I just thought Gordon was more safe, and I'm thinking of holding this person sort of long term because I've got a lot of other transfers I want to make over the upcoming weeks in my team, so I just felt like I wanted a more secure person. So I think if you are moving out of Bruno, you want to go to someone secure because I think Bruno's quite secure. I think if you can roll the transfer and bring Bruno back in. I know it's Liverpool next week for him as well, but it's tough. Chris Siddons, any recommendations, thoughts on your team? Alisson, Trent, Timber, Gabriel, wow, really nice. Palmer, Salah, Bruno, Ahmad, João Pedro, Ron, we will get to you. Costa, is this the work you're missing? Missing the cricket for? Yeah, this is what I'm missing the cricket for, mate. No, I'm actually at real work, 9 to 5 work. Not that this isn't real work. JP, Cunha, Isak. I mean, to be honest, mate, I love this team. It's great. It's pretty much the team that I'd be looking to get towards over the next few weeks. I'd say the Bruno Ahmad double up for Man United, something that maybe you can look at. Like I said, I think that move out of Bruno for me is a difficult one to pick who you're going to go. You've obviously got 2.2 mil in the bank, so you could easily upgrade an Ahmad to like probably Mbumo's a little bit too far. No, it depends what you got Ahmad in for. I think Mbumo is 7.6. Anthony Gordon is 7.3. And then your other option is upgrading a João Pedro, and that is sort of, I think you don't need to do that this week. So yeah, I think for me, probably a roll this week. Play Ahmad, play Enzo. Defence is nice. Play the front 3, and then next week think about whether you want to come out of Ahmad, come out of João Pedro, what you're going to use the money to do. I think my suggestion is probably go Ahmad to Anthony Gordon. I think Anthony Gordon's nice. I mean, you could do that this week, but it's nice to sort of have 2 free transfers. You feel like you've got more options in the moves, and if something happens in the week, sometimes it's a better option to just roll. So I think, Chris, I'll probably just roll, mate. I think your team's looking really nice. Like this Becker-Trent combination is what I want to get closer to maybe 24, 25. The only thing I'd say, it'd be nice to have like a Munoz or a Robinson and maybe come out of Timber and just have one Arsenal defence, because I think the Arsenal fixtures are actually a lot nicer from an attacking perspective rather than a defensive perspective. So I think those are sort of the things to think about. Everyone else I like. Mikolenko, keep hold of him for that double game week that Everton won. Enzo Palmer I like. I think Timber, Bruno / Ahmad, probably cutting them down to 1, and João Pedro are the 3 that I'd be looking at making changes. Who have we got? Footballers, do you think bringing Aina and Robinson in is a good choice? I love Robinson. He's like my number 1 defender that I'd be looking to go for. He's basically playing as a left winger for Fulham last week. Like they played like a just crazy aggressive wing backs. So I don't think he's always going to play like that, but even at like fullback for Fulham, he's been playing super high. I think Fulham have a really nice fixture run after this week. Bournemouth's not that easy, but then Ipswich, West Ham, Leicester, Man United, Newcastle, and then Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Wolves. I think it's really nice. Aina, also good. I think this week against Everton, like everybody when you're up against Everton, I play the defenders, because Everton have been super poor going forwards, look terrible. Obviously a lot stronger at the back, and then Wolves, Liverpool, Southampton over the next 4. Like if Cunha gets banned, Aina could be lovely in that game. Obviously we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, I think both of them are good options going forwards, especially over the next 6-7 game weeks. Bruno Larson to Isak for -4. Isak? Who's that? Is that just a misspelling of somebody? Ismail Assar. Yeah. Thanks, Luca. Bruno for a -4. Oh. I'm assuming you can't get to Isak otherwise. Wolves have got Tottenham this week. No, I'd probably roll. I'd do it next week. I don't think Ismail Assar against Southampton is that great a game. Unpopular opinion. But I think Southampton are actually looking a good defensive side now. They were actually really defensively solid before. It's just they were trying to play out from the back. That's what caused them all their problems. In that 5 at the back low block, they caused City a lot of problems. They were the first team to solve Erling Haaland. With the 5 at the back and man mark Erling Haaland, Southampton caused them a lot of problems, and now a lot of teams have adopted that approach against Man City. So I honestly think Strand Larson, you can hold. Bruno, like you just roll. Strand Larson you can hold because, yeah, I agree, Luke. I think against that Spurs defence at the moment, they're missing so many players. Obviously, Spence injured, Spence suspended. Dragusin might not be available. Like all of their centre backs, Van der Ven, Romero, Davies, even Vicario, all of them out at the moment. So Spurs just have no defence at the moment. Strand Larson is not a bad option at all. So yeah, I think you can just leave it, Ron. I actually think you should roll the transfer. If you've got a bench, maybe for Bruno, bench cover for Bruno. Otherwise, you could go just if you're planning Sarr for the long term. Maybe just go Sarr this week. Yeah, but like I said, I think Southampton are actually a decent defence. They're back 5. They caused Man City problems. They caused Liverpool problems. Yeah, they just gave away goals by trying to pass that for the back. Now Ramsdale's going a bit longer they look a bit nicer. I've actually brought Ramsdale in. Footballers, sorry mate, getting your team up now. Do I keep Enzo or should I look in somebody else? I like Enzo. You don't have Nicholas Jackson. I think Enzo and Palmer are really nice. If anyone in this team, what would I say? You haven't used wildcard. You should wildcard. Why wildcard this week? Oh yeah, you were asking me in the comments earlier, weren't you? Yeah, I'd moved like Turner to like maybe a Fabianski. Maybe is there anyone else at 4.1 goalkeeper? I think Fabianski will come back into the side when he's fit. No, none of these guys are going to play. I don't know about Flecken's injury, Valdemarson. Yeah, either Fabianski or Valdemarson for me. Because you don't know how long Flecken will be out for. Sorry, I know you can't see on the side of the screen. Either Fabianski or Valdemarson. Just as your backup goalie, I don't think it's worth for having rotating goalies. No one else really that I like. I know Pope's out for a while, but don't want to waste a Newcastle spot. Yeah, you have to use wildcard this week, guys. It was in one of my videos earlier. If you don't use wildcard 1, it doesn't roll to the second half of the season. You'll get another wildcard for the second half of the season, but you lose this one. I'm getting Fabianski, Aina, Robinson, Rogers, Sarr, and Solanke. Alright, let me pick who there. So Fabianski for Turner. Robinson maybe for Dan Burn or Pedro Porro. Aina for the other one of those two, I imagine. Leave Kirkez and Gabriel. I think they're both nice. Bournemouth don't have the nicest fixtures, so if you do want to come out of Kirkez, maybe for Munoz at Crystal Palace, quite nice. He plays very attacking right wing back role. Palace obviously with a nice fixture on, haven't shown that they can consistently keep clean sheets though. Rogers, yeah, I would go Rogers for Ahmad. Sarr and Solanke. Sarr. Aina for Burn, Robinson for Porro, yeah, cool, support. Rogers for Ahmad, support. Sarr for Mbumo, Wood for Solanke. Wood for Solanke. That's interesting. Wood for Solanke is interesting. Spurs fixtures get nice. They have, from an attacking perspective, maybe from 22, Everton, Leicester, Brentford, Man United, Ipswich, Man City. Solanke. Could you go up to a Watkins? But I think Watkins is only going to be in for 2 weeks. I actually think he's not that great a pick. And play 3 strikers, maybe 2 on Cunha's ban. Yeah. Yeah, I mean Solanke is he's obviously going to play for Spurs. Can't see them dropping him. They've got no one else. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that Solanke. Sarr for Mbumo. I don't hate Mbumo. I don't love Ismail Sarr. I think he's an option. No, I think that's fine. Yeah, Sarr to Mbumo is nice. I think that's good. I think that would be a good wild card. Yeah, not really any other suggestions. That's pretty much roughly what I'd have on a wild card draft. Only other suggestion is whether you want a Liverpool defender or Alisson in goal over Raya. Just because as we come up to that sort of game week 24-25, you're probably not going to be making any goalkeeper transfers. So maybe going Liverpool defence now, who have a better defensive run than Arsenal. I think I would do Alisson, Raya to Alisson as well. I think is a better option. Gvardiol, yeah. Again, it's tough. Gvardiol's okay. I think, especially over these next 4 games, he's an attacking option. City have chance for the clean sheet. You can get rid of him closer to the time. Liverpool have that double game week for Trent or Van Dijk, or if Kanai doesn't come back, Gomez. I think Gomez is not that safe. He'll probably play the next 4 game weeks. So if you're comfortable with that, then yeah, I guess that's fine. I think Guardiola's a fine hold. If you can't get up to Trent as well, no point tearing your team apart for it. If you prefer your attacking upside, I think defensively, much of a much. I think Guardiola's got more attacking threat than Trent, but Liverpool are a better defence. So, unpopular opinion. Depends how high. If Trent keeps playing as high as he played in the last 2 games, or the first half against Leicester and the Tottenham game. Right, have I missed anybody else's comments? Eve Star, thinking of getting Cunha in and removing Welbeck. What do you think? I probably wouldn't bring Cunha in. I know he's been killing everyone that doesn't have him. But he's likely to pick up his ban soon, maybe next week or the week after. If you're bringing Cunha in, it's probably for a 2-week punt. I don't think it's worth the transfer. I would remove Welbeck because he's not going to be playing this week. He might come back. Sort of after in the new year. But nice one, footballers. Good luck, mate. Hope you have a good one. Chris Luca coming to you shortly. I would probably, if I'm removing Welbeck, I'd look for Gabby Jesus, Nick Jackson, possibly Watkins if you want to go a bit rogue. Wood. I think Wood's got a good game week this week against Everton. I think that suits him. Yeah, no worries, Eves. Or Eves. Sorry, I'm not good with pronunciations. We found that out on this channel. Luca, I think I'd have Gordon in on a wild card. Yeah, I probably would as well. It's just like you obviously got Isak doubling up on that Newcastle attack. I basically thought very long and hard about that decision this week, and my transfer this week is actually going to be Saka. If you look at my team, it's going to be Saka out to Mbeumo. That is what I'm going to make, and remind me to not miss the deadline and make that transfer. Sorry, not to Mbeumo, to Gordon. What am I talking about? Yeah, I think that was a really tough decision. I spent like the last 2 days deliberating over that decision, but ended up, I think that was probably the one to go. Chris, how do you rank the striker options outside Isak? None of them stand out, sort of between Solanke and Jackson for me. I think Jackson would be... I know his minutes have been down a little bit lately. He's playing 70 minutes, but yeah, I mean, there is a small chance he gets rotated this week, actually. But I really like the positions he's been taking up. I think he's had chances, just hasn't quite finished them the last couple of games. I'd probably be bringing Jackson in if I could. Solanke, look, just not that explosive a pick for me. I don't hate Solanke, but if you look, other than that 16-point game week, Liverpool was the first time that he got over 6 points in a game week with a goal and an assist, and that was really only because Liverpool just couldn't be bothered because they were smashing them and just got a bit lax. So yeah, I don't know if he is the be all and end all. I probably wouldn't be going Solanke. I'd probably rather taking a punt on like Gabriel Jesus or Nicholas Jackson. And I'd probably go Nicholas Jackson if I had the money. Personally, I don't have the money. I took a punt on Jesus. I think Arsenal fixtures are really nice, and they have quite a big upside. If he does come good, but after last week getting hacked at 70 minutes, not super confident that it will be good news. But yeah, that is what I would say for striker options. Jackson 1, Jesus 2, probably Wood, Solanke, Wissa 3. No, I don't like Mateta. I don't like Mateta for Palace. My brother would kill me for saying that because he's a Palace fan. He actually loves Mateta, and so does his son. But yeah, I just don't. I think he's on share of penalties with Eze, which is good. But look, if I'm going for a striker, I want it to be from a team that scores a lot of goals. Chelsea obviously score a lot of goals. Brentford score a lot of goals, Tottenham score a lot of goals. It just gives you more options. Like, I don't think Palace are going to be a team that score tons of goals. Don't think Southampton's the greatest game week, as I've said. I think their defence is improving. Then Chelsea next up, and then obviously Leicester in 21 is a bit nicer. And then yeah, it's probably their next 3 games. Leicester, West Ham, Brentford are all nice. Man United, Everton, Fulham, not amazing. So I don't know. Mateta for me is not really who. I said I'm captaining Salah. I'll talk about it in a second. I'm just going through the rest of the questions. Kanate, I think, is back in a few game weeks. Probably wouldn't bother with Gomez because come the double game week, he probably won't be starting. Yeah, I agree. I think, like I said, probably about 3 or 4 more weeks for Gomez. Bench 2, Cash Kumar, Hall or Mikolenko, and Ahmad or João Pedro. Newcastle beat United. Well, you can go for most upside and go Hall and play Hall and João Pedro and hope that Newcastle obviously keep a clean sheet, which means that Ahmad gets no points. Or you play Mikolenko and Ahmad. I think it's one or the other way. Probably wouldn't hedge the bets. Go for the most upside. Everton v Nottingham Forest, not bad. No, I think that's not a bad fixture for Everton. I think it's okay for Nottingham Forest. Probably better for Chris Wood rather than their sort of counter-attacking players. I think I'd actually just go. I played João Pedro. And then I think the Hall Mikolenko is 50-50. Probably be Hall, just for the attacking threat possibility. Who to bench? Rodgers versus Semenyo. Niels. This week it would be Semenyo. I think they both got 2 points last week, wasn't it? So it wasn't the headache that we thought it was going to be. Yeah, Finners, Luca will get your team up as well, and then we'll do you, Ethan. Chris, plan on bringing on any Everton players for double game week? I do, probably Mikolenko. But it'll probably be right at the double game week, probably not before that. Maybe Ashley Young, actually. Luca, 2197148. Get you up on screen. Kepa, nice, different. Kepa, Munoz, Hall, Gabriel, Palmer, Bowen, Salah, Son, Isaac, João Pedro, Cunha, Fleck on the bench, Rodgers, Robinson, Greaves. Used wildcard 1, 700k, nice. If you want to have a look how far away you are from 500k, probably not far. 14 points. 22 points away from 400k, 32 from 300, 44 from 200. A few good weeks, mate. I'm sure you can make some ground. I think in this team, nothing I'd change in the midfield. 6-2 morning, mate. I'll get to you and Ethan shortly. Stream seems to be working alright now, guys. I shouldn't have said that. Touch wood. Sounds like it's going alright though. We did have some streaming issues earlier, but it seems to be fixed. So yeah, probably I can bring my my energy levels back up now. I've actually fixed it because I was getting a bit stressed earlier because nothing was working. But yeah, we haven't had any problems for a while. Touch wood. Just double checking that. It looks alright, yeah. Up front, I think your thoughts are JP, how long to hold him for? Not for this week. I think you got 2 saved transfers, Luca, unless you've made any transfers this week. Otherwise, yeah, it looks like you've got those 2 saved. 2 saved ones. I think you're alright at the moment. I don't really have anything that I would do. I think I would roll. Yeah, roll and bench Bowen. Play Rodgers. But could sell Bowen for Gordon and bench JP. Seems a bit of a luxury transfer. I'm not very confident in JP or Bowen. 3 this week. If I roll, it'll be 4 next week. That's a good position to be in. It's a good position to be in. I've got to be honest. I mean, your only other option, I know this is a bit rogue, but probably not the next couple of weeks. But I think my only thought is I'd be looking. Honestly, I think your team's fine. I know that's crazy to say, but you almost don't need to do anything. I don't think you need to. Yeah, look, because you have 3 trade transfers, you could look to try and attack the upside and maybe go Gordon this week for Bowen. Because realistically, like, next week against Man City is maybe a nice fixture for Bowen on the counter-attack. He's the man that's going to be sort of providing that threat. But then after that, you're probably not going to want to own him. Like Fulham, Crystal Palace, Villa, Chelsea, Brentford, Arsenal. Not amazing games. But, like, honestly, I'm trying to think what I would do if I was in that situation. Honestly, I'd probably bench Bowen and roll the transfer and then deal with my issues when they come with more transfers, because you're going to have to move Cunha. I'm sure you'll move Bowen eventually. Leaves you an option for João Pedro to move on, and then Kepa's probably going to come out of your team in 2 weeks maybe, or maybe you hold him through to 25 when they have a like nice fixture swing from 25. But yeah, honestly, I'd probably roll, mate. You could play Bowen next week against City. Yeah, just use your transfers closer to that double game week on Liverpool. You could easily bring in, like, you can target who it is. I'd probably target Liverpool defence because the midfield are obviously impossible to pick. Alright, let's get on to Ethan. Yeah, mate, Luke, a really nice team. Good luck this week. I hope you go well, because that's sort of a team I'd look to be going towards. I think you're in a nice position. Roll your transfers, maybe attack the upsides when you can. But I think for this week you're probably fine. Ethan, Raya, Virgil, Kirkers, Lewis, yuck, Nancy. Salah, Bruno, Palmer, Enzo, João Pedro, Isak, Jackson, Robinson, Greaves. Yeah, again, like, nice team. I think like the things that stand out for me, obviously Bruno Fernandes suspended this week, someone to think about moving for. And I think that Chelsea triple up for me is tough. Like, I don't really like tripling up on the attack. I think I mentioned last week I'd look to move it out of Enzo, perhaps into somebody else. Looks like you've just got the one transfer, so maybe Bruno to Gordon, play Rodgers for Enzo. Rest of the team look okay. You can bench Greaves, Enzo, and Kirkes v Robinson v Lewis. Play Robinson, Kirkes v Lewis. Play Robinson. I'm saying play Robinson for the attacking returns over the clean sheet. Kirkes is almost the same feel. Play Robinson and Lewis, and I'm going to live to regret saying play Lewis. I don't know why I'm trusting Man City ever. Play Robinson and Kirkes. Man City will concede. Play Robinson and Kirkes. One of them has got to keep a clean sheet, and hopefully one gets an attacking return. Yeah, bench Greaves, Enzo, and Lewis reluctantly, I think, mate. Yeah, look to move Bruno and Enzo going forwards. Probably Bruno to Gordon this week is what I would say. Luca, if you're scared of Gordon, mate, just bring him in. it'll make you happier. It'll make you happier in the game week watching that game. It will hurt more watching. Who are you gonna leave on the bench for it? Maybe Rodgers. If you hurt watching that game, he gets points. But sometimes it almost feels nicer when you make the transfer. I don't know how you guys feel with FPL. Sometimes when I don't make a transfer, I find it really difficult watching the games. Saku, Ramsdale in goal. Nice. You're probably the only other person I know in the world that has Ramsdale in goal, except for me. Gabriel, Kirkins, Virgil, Salah, Palmer, Odegaard, Semenyo, João Pedro, Isaac Cunha, Luis Diaz, Colwill, Harwood, Bellis. You used your 2 transfers last week. You went Diaz last week. Nice. So 1 transfer this week. 0.3 in the bank. I'd probably say roll. I think for the moves that I'd look at making for your team, you probably need a bit more money, which would mean upgrade or downgrades. I can easily see Cunha getting banned. That might make it an easy 2 transfers next week. I think roll your transfer for the Cunha ban. You're going to want 2 transfers then, because I think you want to downgrade or upgrade a Cunha, and I'd probably say you're going to downgrade Cunha and upgrade elsewhere. Maybe like Cunha down to Wood or Wissa, and then upgrade a Semenyo, or even downgrade a Semenyo. Nah, you'll probably want to keep him for 20. Semenyo to Rodgers is the only thing I can think of, because Villa's fixtures are nice. Semenyo to Rodgers. Southampton fan and believed in Ramsdale. Mate, I actually think Ramsdale's now a good pick. I brought him in. I brought Ramsdale in last week. He was my transfer. I made 2 transfers last week. One of them was to transfer my goalkeeper to Ramsdale. I think Southampton defence could become better. I actually see quality, the only quality in their team in their defence, and maybe Tyler Dibling's running ability. Yeah, I think roll your transfer. Some options going forward: Semenyo to Rodgers, Cunha somewhere, maybe down to a Wood or Wissa, and João Pedro. Like, those are ones to keep an eye on, I think. 6-2. Who else we got? Morning Man, have benching headache this week between Hall, Semenyo, Johnson and Ahmad. Have done transfers from João Pedro to Isaac. ID 51813. Isaac Wu. Hopefully this is your team, mate. 5.5 in the bank. Oh, but you went João Pedro to Isaac, which is about 3 mil. So you probably got about 2.5 mil in the bank. Get rid of Brennan Johnson. That's number 1. Should be number 1 on your list. Terrible pick. But keeps getting points, so I've got to stop saying. I think I've talked about Brennan Johnson for Spurs quite a lot. Basically, Spurs' best lineup being Kulusevski on the right, Son on the left, Maddison at the 10. Attacking lineup, definitely the best. John Johnson, I will get to you as well, mate. Hey, Tiger and Gooner, good to see you, mate. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, Johnson on the right. Like I said last week, I said if he starts and Nottingham Forest play a back 4, Spurs are going to struggle to break them down. That's exactly what happened, and Forest kept a clean sheet. So you're welcome to any people that I told to start Sells or Nottingham Forest defenders last week, because I fancied that to happen. I actually thought if they had played Kulusevski and Son from the start, and Maddison in the 10, that dual threat on the wing would have caused Forest a few problems, and they would have eventually been able to break them down. But yeah, I think Spurs look really dead when that happens and they play Johnson, because he doesn't get involved in the build-up play. He's just good on the counter attack and getting in on the back post. So I'd look to move. Yeah, Johnson's mate. Are you Spurs fan? Oh, you're a Spurs fan. Yeah, I don't think he's a great player. I think he's okay. I think Kulusevski and Maddison are just much better. And Spurs play better with two in the pivot, like two in the deep, like Sarr and Basuma, Maddison in front of him. They just have so much more creativity because they have a dual threat on both wings, and they don't have to just rely on Son delivering into the box for like Johnson and Solanke, and then like Kulusevski like running everywhere. I think Kulusevski being in a defined role on the right is good. He can take on his man, beat his man, get in the box, come in a little bit narrower. It's much better for him. So yeah, I'd look to move Johnson where that would be to. Maybe Anthony Gordon. I can't believe how big I am on Anthony Gordon. And I was just saying a couple of weeks ago how he doesn't excite me. The other options at that sort of price point are Martin Odegaard, Leandro Trossard. But again, like even Arsenal, if I was to go Arsenal, I'd probably go Jesus at the moment. But that would be like a punty play. But so would those Arsenal midfielders feel like a punty play. So the safer bet is Gordon to sort of tick on points, but he's not like an exciting move. Yeah, otherwise your team is fine. Like Saliba, Timber, I'd obviously rather have a Gabriel, but that's fine. Potentially like closer to the double game week, move Timber to Trent. Habisha, I'll come to you, mate. But I'd bench Bowen as the answer because it's the easy one because I have that dilemma. Yeah, I think look to move Johnson is probably your first point of call, and then I think then you probably rotate Ahmad and Semenyo / João Pedro each week, and then I'd have a think about potentially moving maybe on the João Pedro if he doesn't come into form. I think he struggles playing in the number 10 role. He's much more comfortable, in the number 9 role. He's much more comfortable playing in the number 10 behind Welbeck. Brighton have been a lot less attackingly fluid without Welbeck. I just think he's really helpful in their offence, being able to run in behind, being able to be involved in the link-up play, and having João Pedro also there, that they sort of have that dual ability to do that. I think that's worked really nicely. When João Pedro's gone on a little bit further, he's got a little bit frustrated in that role. Oh, sorry, you moved João Pedro to Isaac. Of course you did. My bad. Yeah, so your front line's looking nice. Aaron Robinson, Hall, Saliba, nice. Timber, someone maybe you can look to move to a Liverpool defender closer to that 24, 25, probably double game week will be at 25. So yeah, it would just be like Ahmad Semenyo, move Johnson first priority, then have a think about whether you're comfortable with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with them, either of them, really. I don't love Semenyo, I'd probably move Semenyo after that. Move Semenyo to like a Star or Jacob Murphy is nice. Triple up on Newcastle, but Jacob Murphy is nice if you're not worried about the minutes. And you've got quite a lot of rotation. So actually Jacob Murphy could work in your team because you have quite a deep bench. I think move Johnson, even to like a Kulusevski. To a Kulusevski, a Gordon, Odegaard. Don't think you have the money for Foden, but I wouldn't move him. But I think honestly, like for this week, you obviously don't have any transfers. But yeah, next week I'd probably think about moving Johnson for someone. Hopefully that helps, Isaac. If that was helpful, give us a sub, like the video. You're the number 1 Southampton defence believer. Thanks, Luca. John, on wildcard, have Raya, Gabriel, Munoz, Robinson, Trent, Aina, Rogers, Palmer, Salah, Gordon, Sarwood, Isaac, currently undecided on Jesus or Solanke. Who to start? Well, I think Jesus is more of a risk, but probably bigger upside if Arsenal get him involved and get him working. So I'd personally go for Jesus, but Solanke feels like a safer long-term pick. But Jesus, I think, is probably to just exploit that current upside, which if I was on a wild card is what I would definitely look to do. So I'd probably go Jesus. And then who's the start? Trent, Munoz, Aina. Hard to put Gabriel on the bench, but I would. And bench Sarr and play Rodgers. So I'd play Raya, Munoz, Trent, Aina, Rodgers, Palmer, Salah, Gordon, Wood, Isaac, Jesus. That would be my team. Bench Bowen or João Pedro this week. Yeah, bench Bowen. Looking to move Johnson to Iwobi next week though. Yeah, Johnson to Iwobi is a nice move. Forgot about Iwobi. Yeah, I'd definitely be on board with that. I think that's fine. Yeah, Fulham v Ipswich next week. Nice game week. Iwobi's looked good, linked up well with Robinson. I know people think like his sort of time in the sun is over, but his minutes are so solid. He basically is like averaging 87 minutes a week. So yeah, it's not a horrible move. But then, like, you obviously got that benching dilemma each week between Iwobi, Ahmad, Semenyo. I think that's fine, but I'd look to upgrade one of them to maybe that 7 mil sort of area at some point when you can. But yeah, I think to Iwobi's fine if you're not made up your mind where you want to go. Obviously, like, have a look where we land this game week. If Gordon goes and scores 2 and gets an assist, you're probably going to bring him in. But 451k, mate, doing really nice, and looks like, what, 14 points off 300k, 26 points off 200k, 45 off the top 100, could easily make it there shortly. You don't rate Eberici Eze at all as an option. Short answer, nah. Look, the way Palace play, right? So they have that sort of 3-4-2-1 setup where they have 3 at the back, the 2 wing backs, 2 holding midfielders, and then it's like a box in midfield, like the 2 holding midfielders, and then Eze and Sarr playing as both as dual number 10s behind Mateta. And Sarr's the one who sort of runs on behind Mateta. And then, like, obviously when Mateta drops deep, he can play those passes. Eze's always sort of like a little bit deeper. So I think, not that I don't rate Eze, I think from a sort of assist threat and like his long range shooting is nicer. But I prefer Sarr because of his ability to burst past Mateta and sort of run on into those dangerous areas. So I think, not that I don't rate Eze, I just think Sarr is a better option than him, and he's a cheaper price point. And it's just based off the style that Palace play. I should get my brother on these streams because he'd definitely support that. I talk to him a lot about Palace. He's a season ticket holder there. So, best atmosphere in the Premier League, Crystal Palace, Selhurst Park. I wonder whether that'll be an unpopular opinion for many of you. But honestly, there's a guy that bangs on a drum for 90 minutes. He only breaks at half time for the 15-minute break just to rest his hand. And the atmosphere there is mental. The only problem is I went to watch a game there once, and my team scored a last-minute penalty against them, and I was sitting in the Ultras end, and I almost died. I couldn't help myself. I let out a little shriek, and then I had to try and turn it into a "Oh no!" And that was terrible. Does your brother live overseas and you're in Oz? Yeah, mate, he lives in the. Well, my whole family live in the UK. Actually, it's just me. Living the life out here in Oz. Definitely recommend anyone that lives in the UK venturing over. It's honestly like a awesome lifestyle change for sure, but it's pretty awesome. Very outdoorsy. Very outdoorsy. Cool. I actually managed to get through all those questions for now, and I'll come back to any that come on. We'll carry on doing press conferences because I didn't get anywhere near through those press conferences before everybody came in. Hopefully I didn't miss any comments. I'll just do a second check. Looks like I did get end of everybody. Crystal Palace Guay suspended this week for them defensively, but obviously Southampton, not the biggest issue in the world. Not very good from an offensive standpoint. Ramsdale's still available. To be honest, him and Walker Peters, I just didn't really update from last time. Stevens returns from suspension, which again will help bolster their defence. So there is potential for a Southampton clean sheet this week. Don't look past it. Ramsdale in goal. Let's go. Brentford, Pinnock still out with hamstring injury. Vandenberg, Thiago, Aya all out. Jensen and Rico Henry also still injured. Does look like Flecken is unlikely to be available, as does Ben Mee, based off the comments that we've heard from Brentford. Thomas Frank. I know we do have some Brentford fans that often join the screen, so if they know anything that we don't know, please let us know. Arsenal, Saka's been confirmed out for 2 to 3 months. What that means is basically it must be, he did require surgery, which basically means it must be a grade 3 hamstring tear. So you have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Grade 3, which is the most severe, which means you need surgery for it to recover. And normally, I think like normal recovery time for that sort of thing is 3 months. I'd imagine for professional athletes it's probably more like 2 months. But obviously when you have a sort of hamstring injury, you're able to do a lot less of the training that you would be doing otherwise. So I think that he'll be out maybe for 2.5 months if that's the case, or just over 2 months. I'm sure they won't want to take any liberties with him, and they'll want to take all the precautions they can. Luke, I don't know whether I sell Burton. I'm not loving him as a player. I want him to do well, even though the Hammers are rivals of ours. He's a talisman to always scoring potential, regardless of the opponent. If I don't sell him now, when would I even sell him? Yeah, because you wouldn't sell him next week against Man City, that's for sure. Fulham, Palace, Villa. Probably find it hard again. You'd have to sell him in that Fulham gap, otherwise you'd keep him for Palace and Villa. Chelsea, then maybe that's where you sell him. It's hard though. If you keep Bowen for Liverpool, you're almost thinking like, well, you can hold him through those difficult weeks. But to be honest, I just think this week, are you going to play him? If you're going to bench him, then it's different. But like this week, I just don't think he's going to get a return. I think they're also like, if you look at the press conference news for West Ham, they're missing Souček, Rodriguez, and Soler, likely Soler. That's like all of their starting midfield from last week. Obviously, Paqueta comes back into that, but Souček's like aerial presence is actually a big deal for West Ham, keeping possession. And West Ham have been really poor going forward. It's been all Bowen and Kudus and Somerville when he comes on. Honestly, I'd just sell him to Gordon. Maybe I just hold him benching this week. I feel like every time we change our mind on that, the other person comes up with the other option. But I just think you're. You can start JP. Yeah. I think you're gonna hate yourself. That's the thing. Like, if you can live with just benching him, I would bench him. But if the FOMO is too much for you, just buy Gordon. Personally, I would bench him. I'm benching Bowen this week. I'll be playing him next week against City. Alan 98. Which two would 898? Sorry. Which two would you start? Rogers, Semenyo, João Pedro. Rogers and João Pedro. Fulham not an easy week. Brighton obviously playing Villa. Villa concede. Better recently, but they do concede. Rogers playing Brighton in the same sort of way. I'd say Brighton also concede. The weird thing was in the Brighton game last week, and we did sort of talk about the fact that I expected that game to be a much more open game. Like I sort of felt like it would be quite end-to-end, and we'd have a lot of sort of transition-based football, but it really wasn't like that at all, and I was really surprised to see that. This is another game this week, the sort of this Brighton v Aston Villa game, where I think both teams are also like very good in transition. So I sort of expect the same thing, but you know, we just didn't get that in that Brighton-Brentford match. I know Brentford went to the like 3-4-3 with Mbeumo out wide, but I just felt like they're normally quite a good transition-based team, and they didn't really show those transitions. I've got Palmer as captain, vice captain Salah. Thoughts, please. Tiger Gear, you happy last week? Game week 18, 78 points. Nice one, mate. That's awesome. That was a really good game week. Palmer captain, vice captain Salah. Oh look, I've got Salah as captain this week, and it is to do with West Ham having a lot of players missing and in their midfield, which I think they're going to then find it really hard to retain possession against Liverpool. And Liverpool, when they have a dominant in possession, Salah's surely going to find a way to score against them. I'll probably caveat that with saying that I think Palmer against Ipswich, like, it's obviously a good fixture. Ipswich are a team to target, and I don't know how Ipswich will come out tactically against Chelsea, but I do expect them to do what a lot of teams have been doing recently and sort of targeting Palmer and trying to man mark him and make him less influential on Chelsea's game, which makes him drift slightly out wider to the right, which allows Enzo to get forward into that attacking midfield space and sort of cause problems for the opposition, which means I feel like Enzo is quite a nice pick for this game week, especially considering Ipswich like to sort of break in transition, and then the other direction, Chelsea are going to really put a lot of pressure on them in that sort of high press. If Enzo does start for Chelsea, and obviously they're going to have some rotations this week, as Maresca said, he's right at the top of that sort of 1-4 press with Jackson at the top and then Enzo, Palmer and the two wingers like Sancho and Neto. So yeah, I just feel like if I was the Ipswich manager, I would man mark Palmer, because I don't feel like Fulham did that. Fulham just sort of played their little box midfield and just tried to work and tried to defend the space. But Palmer was really finding those in between the lines areas, and then he was causing trouble again. He's so good at that. So I think like that was the first week for a while that teams have gone away from man marking him, and then he scored. If I was watching it tactically from an Ipswich perspective, I'd look to man mark him, and he has found it a little bit more difficult. So the fact that he scored last week was because Fulham had a different tactical approach to teams have had in the past. Thought Palmer takes penalties, so does Salah. So does Salah. That's what I think. Salah v West Ham and Liverpool have a lot of possession. I just fancy him. He's also not blanked. Like, I know we talked about this before, but did I have the? That's the wrong screen. But like, if you look at this, let me show you my Salah. Look at his returns. 9, 21, 5, 18, 13, 13, 14, 9, 10, 12. He has 2 blanks the entire season. Game week 4 and game week 7. Like, can you not captain that? Look at Palmer. He's obviously like super explosive, but like, he has blanks like 3-3, 2-2-3. And a lot of that you'll see, like Everton man mark Palmer, Brentford man mark Palmer, Tottenham obviously just tried to just. Actually, to be fair, Tottenham did man mark Palmer for a while, but yeah, I mean, that was just like they obviously didn't really defend that much. So yeah, I just think for me, Salah's the consistency. It's hard to go away from him. I also see that tactical match-up against Ipswich a little bit differently. Yeah, he gave him 2 pence, so that was the 2 goals as well. yeah. But yeah, he still sort of managed to get into the. So what happened with the Tottenham game is I can't remember who was holding for Tottenham at the time, but the way I remember it is they didn't have two holding midfielders in that game, and the one guy was basically when Enzo moved into the attacking midfield position alongside Palmer. I think it was Basuma was playing there. Had to choose like who he was marking. It would always go to Palmer. Enzo had tons of space, and Chelsea just ran rampant over them. And Palmer was really wise, and he drifted out wide. And that's actually why that's what happened in quite a lot of games. Is Maresca's trying to get him to drift out wider to make room for Enzo and the other midfielders, or like the Cucurellas or Gustos that invert. And that's why maybe he hasn't had as many goal opportunities, but he's sort of giving space to other players, just like sort of Messi used to do in that Barca team sometimes when teams used to round mark him. Anyway, let me get back. So that's my thoughts on captaincy and why it's Salah. Surely JP will blank again. Hopefully not. We can talk more about that later. Let's get through these questions. Spiros, you Greek, mate? My mum's Cypriot. That'd be interesting if you were Greek. Spiros Kretsas. Let me know if you are. Be cool. Start Rodgers or Virgil. Already have Trent in my team. West Ham. Start Virgil. I think good option. Good chance of a clean sheet this week. Rodgers v Brighton. Start Virg. If I'm doubled up on Arsenal defence, should I bench Gabriel and start Colwill? Don't bench Gabriel. Who are you doubled up on? Definitely no, don't bench Gabriel. Chelsea got Ipswich, but Ipswich can score, man. Ipswich are alright on the counter attack. Chelsea are not the best defensively. Don't bench Gabriel. He's got too much attacking threat as a defender. If you can avoid benching Gabriel, avoid benching Gabriel. Chelsea can concede one goal, but Arsenal have 90 minutes to get a corner, and you've seen you should have scored last week off that corner. Noah Hart, Mbumo and JP to start, Isaac for -4. Don't worry, mate. I will get to all the questions, so don't worry about posting twice. I mean, actually, no, post twice. That's fine. Gets more engagement on my channel. Probably brings more people over. Feel free to double post. Take that back. Triple post. For a -4. No, not for me. Not for me. Look, for a -4, there's two reasons that you do your transfer for a -4. One is that you're sure that person is going to score 6 or more points in the game week than the other two. And Mbumo and JP, and Mbumo can honestly score against anybody. You should have seen. There's a really interesting YouTube video that Thomas Frank does on his tactical setup in the 2-0 win that Brentford got over Arsenal. I think it was last year. Maybe it was the year before. I watched it the other day. So don't sleep on Mbumo against Arsenal. And Sarr, like I said, Crystal Palace v Southampton. I think Southampton are a much improved defence now. The fact that they're playing long from the back, really they're playing out of the back caused them all their problems. And actually, them playing long up to Paul on Ruachu, again my pronunciation issues. Long up to Onuachu has helped them keep the ball and have more attacking threat. So if anything, it's been a blessing in disguise for Southampton. So yeah, I don't love Sarr this week. Isak, obviously, you want to get in. But yeah, I think you can just wait for next week. I think you just roll and make the transfer next week. Don't take the -4. I think I take the trick of the Andy Martin book. Don't make unnecessary luxury transfers. Yeah, I always try not to make them, but I changed my approach. This year, I was actually Crown. I'll get to you, mate. If I start getting, I'll come back to that. I'll just come back to you. We can talk about that for a bit. If I start Gabriel and Trent, who should I start third defender out of? Mikalenko, Colwill, Robinson. Ooh. That's a tough call. And that is actually a tough call because Robinson I like for attacking threat, but Bournemouth have been good offensively. Colwill, Chelsea v Ipswich. Mikalenko. Bench Mikalenko. Colwill versus Robinson. Robinson. Play Robinson for the attacking threat. Plus, you never know, might get a clean sheet. Unnecessary luxury transfer. So originally this season, I had an idea to try and save up transfers early, and then agreed. Colwell definitely doesn't have the attacking upside of a Robinson. It's more like, do you think Chelsea keep the clean sheet? They might against Ipswich. They might. But I think like Fulham could also keep a clean sheet against Bournemouth. So the fact that Robinson could play on basically the left wing again, which is where he played basically against Chelsea, makes me think I would go for him. He's also got 6 assists so far this year, the most of any defender. Skywalker, would you bench JP or Hall? How has your team got to the stage where you're choosing between JP and Hall? That is a good team. I would probably bench somebody else. Bench up Pedro and play Colwill. Don't do that either. No, just bench Colwill, Crown. It's higher upside. You never know. He could just score and get an assist, and everyone will stop talking about JP being an issue. Same thing I'm thinking for you, Skywalker. I don't know. I think. That's such a hard one because I actually think Hall has a lot of upside because he is able to get attacking returns, and Newcastle against Man United could keep a clean sheet, and he could also get bonus points. And that's also as optimistic as thinking João Pedro is going to get a goal and assist. Bench Hall, Skywalker. I think that's my call. Attacking players just have better chance, upside, bonus points, all of the above. I think higher upside. Yeah, Bowen versus JP. Yeah, I'll bench Bowen. I think United score. Yeah, I know, just without Bruno, it's just they do lack a bit of creativity, but I can see United scoring in that game as well. Maybe they'll find a new way to get the creativity. Guys, just a shout out, like if I'm helpful and you're like helped with the questions and stuff, please give the channel a sub, like the video, try and help this sort of channel grow going forwards. We're trying to work our way up to 1,000 subscribers at the moment. I think we were about almost 800. It'd be nice to try and hit 800 by next game week. Maybe on the live stream. There'll be a lot of subscribers on this live stream. But yeah, see how we go. Thing is, I've already received like 27 points for the last 3 game weeks from Wolves. I'm happy to bench him this week. Yeah, me too, mate. But I'm playing him. Oh man. Let's look at my. This is. I tell you what. I'll actually put my team on screen because I have some decisions to make. Final dilemma: start JP or Ahmad Crown. JP. Back in JP. Come good against Villa. This is probably what I'm doing. I just made the transfer Saka to Gordon. I didn't wait for the deadline, I was too lazy. Yeah, start JP over Ahmad, I think, Crown. He's let me down many weeks in a row, but You know, I sold him a couple of weeks ago. I'm starting to call over Lewis. Yeah, well, I started really because of last week. I started Guardiola and Lewis for Man City, and they conceded against Everton, and I can't take it anymore. I can't take Man City anymore. So I just said, look, Cool's got a chance of attacking returns. Lewis is not going to get that inverting into his defensive midfield role. Just go with it. Go with it. Yeah, already got Guardiola. I think Guardiola's nice from attacking return. But I sort of had this double City defence thinking, yeah, man, this is going to pay off in this like nice 5-game week run. And I probably would have doubled up with them again this week if they had kept a clean sheet at Everton. So maybe it is a bit reactional. But I couldn't do it to myself to play them both again this week when Newcastle have been so good. Yeah, guys, please give a sub if you enjoy the comments and they're helping you like the video. And yeah, we'll run through some more. Did we finish off the press conference updates? I don't know if we did. Maybe let's just finalise. Make sure we finalise and everyone knows the stuff. I think we did the screen. Talked about them. Yeah, I think this was the final one. Lukic is back, available. Played for Fulham last week. Do you think start Robinson over Hall? Ooh. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, probably. I'd start Robinson over Hall. Start Rodgers, Wood, or Hall. How do you have a choice of all three of them? How good is your team, Liam? Nice. I mean, I'd start Wood. I think tactically he's a nice matchup against Everton. Everton will sit deep. Nottingham Forest will have to break them down. The way it will be is they'll have to put crosses into the box to Chris Wood. Obviously, Everton are also good at like defending that sort of style. But I mean, it suits him. Who's the rest of your team? If you put your ID in the chat, I can pull your team up on the screen. I'm sure. There's no way that you benching all three of them, benching two of the three of them. You must have an insane team. No, maybe you can. Maybe you got a good team. Yeah, Lukic is back for Fulham. Tete obviously out for 8 to 10 weeks, which means Castagna starting on that right wing back role for Fulham, and will be for the next 8 weeks or so. So obviously becomes a good FPL option. Smith Rowe's a possibility. Sounded like they weren't too confident about him. Berg, a bit more confidence, I would say. Feel like Man U are being downplayed a bit too much. Plus Newcastle have a lot of bad days. Yeah. Oh well. I will say that United have actually been very complimentary of in the last few game weeks, but I've got fed up with them a little bit recently as well. I agree that Newcastle do have their off days, but the form they've been in has just been so good. Like, when you've got sort of 3 game weeks to look back on and be like, oh, I know Villa had a man sent off, but they've obviously played really well over the last 3 weeks, and you got to look and think like, well, would you rather pick the team that are in form? Yeah, I don't know. It depends what you're talking about. Like, I think from an attacking standpoint, with no Bruno Fernandes, United's attack also looks a lot weaker to me. He's their most creative player. So with him being suspended, that is also a big call out. Just bought Munoz for Lewis. Nice. Great transfer. Palace v Southampton. So if they concede to Southampton, woo! So that's as bad as conceding. Not quite as bad as conceding to Everton. I think they bounce back at home and score once at least, which is why I'm benching Hall. I think that's fair. Look, I think there are some defensive options this week which are better than Lewis Hall. I would say Robinson is a better option than Lewis Hall. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously when you look at my team, it's just a case of, like, I don't have that flexibility that a lot of you guys actually have better defensive options. So yeah, for me it's a choice of Hall and Lewis. I don't want to play 2 Man City defenders, so it's not that Hall's a great option, just I don't want to double down on City again this week. Do you reckon they won't score at home versus Newcastle to the point that you're starting Hall over Lewis? No, it's just sort of spreading the risk, really. Like, if I'm honest, like it's a bit of spreading the risk. Like last week, I went double City. City conceded to Everton. Hall kept a clean sheet against Aston Villa. So I disagree with shite. Yeah, look, and so like my theory was Man United without Bruno. Who finished as said are shite. No, I mean I think they're a lot worse at the moment. To be honest, they're not playing great. Let's put it that way. But they had their chances against Bournemouth until they're sending off. Like it could have been different had they taken some of those chances. But yeah, like I'm just not confident in City. Like, I think my reason to start Hall over Lewis is more I'm not confident in Man City keeping a clean sheet against Leicester, who score goals. They scored against Liverpool last week. They score most weeks. Is Eze an option, or does he need to score in back-to-back games to be considered Crystal Palace fixtures a first or second? Is that my brother? Is this the guy? Are you the same Al that commented a few weeks ago that I also thought was my brother and was also talking about Crystal Palace? If it is, mate, thanks for watching the stream. I don't think you ever watch my streams, do you? Or you're just pretending to in the background. Look, Eze, for me, I spoke about it a little bit earlier. The way that Palace set up is that 3-4-2-1, right? 3 centre-backs, 2 wing-backs, and then a little box in midfield, 2 defensive midfielders, 2 attacking midfielders, and then Mateta above them. Their 2 attacking midfielders are Sarr and Eze. Sarr actually runs on beyond Mateta when Mateta drops deep, holds up the ball, and then is able to either dish it off to Eze to pass or hit a pass round the corner. And Sarr's able to do that sort of running in behind. Eze is more of like the creative, is a little bit deeper, doesn't maybe push those runs in behind as much as Sarr. Therefore, not that I don't think Eze is a good option. I think he is an option. I just think Sarr is a better option from an attacking standpoint from Palace based off his position for them. And like he's 0.8 million cheaper. So for me, Sarr is the sort of option that I would go to, and I wouldn't want to double up on Palace. So, I mean, ultimately that's me saying Eze is not an option, but like it's not saying he's a bad option. It's just explaining why Sarr's being picked over him. Which I don't think people actually. That's not why a lot of people are picking Sarr. They're picking him based off like statistical data, which also he has better statistical data. But for me, it's more the tactical side of things and the style in which Palace play, and stylistically, like why he's more. And this is why that he has better statistical data. Really, is because he is able to get into those positions. Plus, Eze was a bit of a points dodger for me at the beginning of the season. Moving through this team news, I did that last. Cunha again likely to play. Lamina possible coming back from injury, and Sarabia is out. Sorry, Bournemouth we didn't even do. Clivert suspended this week, so he's not an option for anybody. Which probably means Evan Nilsson on penalties. If you do have Evan Nilsson, could be worth holding him. And Tottenham obviously have no defence this week. Spence got himself suspended with a red card. Romero and Van der Ven out. Vicario and Davis out. Dragusin, from what was said, is unlikely to be fit. Wolves, you have Cunha, Lamina, possible Lamina. Cunha's back and Sarabia is out for them. Brighton, they did confirm Welbeck would be out until the new year. Can't edit. Sorry, they did confirm that Welbeck would be out until the new year, so expect him to be out this week for sure. Kadioglu and Hinchelwood are still out. Solly March is back, played in the last game, and Weaver is possible to return for Brighton or to be available. Villa, Ramsey's back. Hossam, welcome back, mate. Good to see you. Feel free to evaluate again this week. I will pop you up on the screen, mate. Welcome back to the channel. Good to see you. How did you go last week? Oh, we're about to find out actually. 5, 6, 8, 1, 4. 51 points. What were your transfers in the end? Saka and Cunha to Foden and Isak. Yeah, tough. Cunha is always killing people off at the moment. 1.2 in the bank. Yeah, Fabianski and Flecken. I think you just got to make the goalkeeper transfer, to be honest. Luca, thanks, mate. Yeah, I think I'm FPL_T on Twitter and FPL_ the English Aussie on Instagram. So please give us a follow. Not super active really on both of them, but just comment on my videos in the week. Really on YouTube is the best place to get replies from me. Thanks for joining and thanks for contributing. You've been great on the stream. Notice how long I've been playing FPL. 14 seasons, mate. Let's look at some of your history. Hey, you've been pretty great. Look at this: 22k, 76k, 28k. You got a well-respected record over the last 4 years. Let's hope you can get back up into the top 1 mil this year, maybe the top 100k. Actually, I'm interested to see back in the day. This is when I was good at FPL. When we didn't have all these content creators like myself making the game too close and tight. I was dominating. Fabianski and Flecken, I'd make a transfer, mate. You don't want to have 10 players playing. You have 1.2 mil in the bank. Look, depends on what you're thinking with assistant manager chip. If you watch my chip strategy video, which I think it got about 3.5k views, and a really popular video, which I talk about all the chips. And you know what? Just for you guys, I set it up earlier today to show on screen because I couldn't do it last game week. So I will talk about that shortly. But let me just explain why I'm getting to it. If you're playing your assistant manager chip like later when I'm recommending, which is more like game week 31 time, then you can probably look to bring in another Liverpool player and target that double game week in 25. So if you're bringing in a goalkeeper, I'd probably suggest bringing in Alisson, just because you're unlikely to make a lot of more goalkeeper changes going forwards, and with 1.2 you've got enough to get there. And I think your team's nice. Like, you don't need money anywhere. Like, you don't really need any big upgrades. The only things that you'd obviously be thinking about is maybe Jackson to Isak. Oh, sorry, you've got Isak. Yeah, maybe I don't think you need any big upgrades. I think your team's nice. You've got Palmer, Salah, Foden. They're going to play every week. Rodgers and Enzo will probably rotate with João Pedro for 2 of those 3 each week. And yeah, Dino could maybe go to Mikalenko closer to 25. So I'd probably go Flecken to Alisson, is what I'd do, Hossam. Ethan, Haaland or Salah captain, only have Haaland as majority of my mini league, have him. Look, if you've got Haaland, you really should be captaining him, I think. That's what his upside is he absolutely smashes it, and that's what you've got him in your team for, is this next 4 weeks, is to probably be captaining him in all of those 4 weeks. Heath, mate. He said he bought a Cells for Flecker. Cheers, Luca, mate. Good luck this game week. I can't say I'm supporting Gordon, not to hurt you, because I just brought him in this week, but I hope you have a good week regardless of that. Oh, already got Cells instead of Flecken. Ah, damn. Okay, yeah, I missed that, Hossam. Sorry, mate. Should have asked me. And I like Cells as well. Nottingham Forest have a good fixture run from a defensive perspective coming up over the next sort of 7 weeks. So I think fine. I think really with your team, I think you look good going forwards. My thought is really the triple Chelsea. Maybe moving off of Nicholas Jackson. Because I think Enzo is tough to move out of. maybe you move Nicholas Jackson down to somebody. Potentially, you upgrade a Dina in the future, or a João Pedro. Yeah, move Nicholas Jackson down, upgrade a João Pedro, switch your forwards around. I think your midfield's set for the next sort of 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, I think the team's nice. Should hopefully have a good game week this week. Yeah, what I was going to say was going to talk about chip strategy, wasn't I? Hopefully I can put it on the screen. Yeah, so this is sort of like my ultimate chip strategy video, which you guys are going to get a sneak peek of right now. I did a little bit of updating to this since this video went out. Actually, just bear with me a second. Do some tweaking. But yeah, basically what I've done is I've predicted what I did quite a bit of research into this chip selection video before I put it up. Juan Long-San Marbo, is Cunha available to play, or do you serve the ban? He's available to play this week again. The ban has not been imposed on him yet. I'll double check if anything late. Yeah, look, I mean, honestly, it could be mid-Jan before they impose anything. With Bentancur, it took quite a few weeks for things to come through. So he could easily play in the next game week as well against Nottingham Forest. And then I probably would say that Newcastle game is the one he might end up missing after the international break. Yeah, so talking about this sort of chip strategy, where we go with it, I obviously talks about which game weeks are most likely for the blanks and doubles, and this was a really big part of why I chose to do stuff. So ultimately, like what it comes down to is when the EFL Cup and FA Cup semi-finals and who is in those games. And the EFL Cup final basically takes place on the Sunday 16th of March weekend, which is the same weekend as the Premier League fixtures. Game week 29. So whichever two teams make it into the final, which could be thanks mate for answering first time joining the live stream. So thanks Juan Alongside mate, really appreciate it. If you have team ID or anything mate, you want me to do a team review, let me know and I will chuck up your team on the screen. So yeah, if you look at this sort of transfer planner for the year, you actually can see in what game week, and here in March you can see sort of 29, which is the EFL Cup final and the games that could potentially be affected by that. Obviously the teams that we have still in, my video was obviously done prior to the last round being done. It is Arsenal versus Newcastle and Liverpool versus Tottenham in the semi-finals. So those are the three teams that have the potential to blank. The four teams that have the potential to blank in that game week. Lewis Tan 1966826. All right, we'll get back to this. Let's get Lewis on, and then we'll come back to the chip strategy and why these double game weeks and blank game weeks are important for chip usage. Lewis, planning to buy Milenkovic next game and sell Wood for Jackson. So you're rolling this week, I'm assuming. 3.3 mil in the bank. Wood to Jackson. Milenkovic for Burgess or Greaves, I'm assuming. Probably Burgess. Now Greaves has got the old start. I guess see who starts for Ipswich this week. You've already got Aina. I'd probably, like, considering you've already got Einar, maybe to sort of spread your coverage in the defence, allow you the ability to rotate a little bit easier. Potentially look at bringing in Robinson for Burgess from Fulham, or Robinson or Castagna. I would say Robinson because of the attacking threat that he brings, playing super high, like on that left-hand side. He's also got 6 assists so far this season, the most out of any defender. So he definitely could be an option to bring in. I like the Nottingham Forest fixtures. I think they're good. I also like the Fulham fixtures and think they're good. The next week they've got Ipswich, West Ham, Leicester in the 3 after Bournemouth this week. So it does sort of feel quite a nice time to go into them. Forest obviously played Everton this week is nice, but if you miss that, you've got Wolves next week and then Liverpool. Wolves will probably still have Cunha next week, and then Liverpool obviously a difficult game week. So it's really like 22 that their fixture is nice against Southampton again. So I do prefer the Fulham defensive fixture run for quite a few weeks. Ipswich, West Ham, Leicester, Man United, and they have Newcastle, tough one, then Forest, Palace, Wolves, Brighton. So yeah, I'd look to maybe move for Robinson or Castagna instead. I'd recommend Robinson. And then Wood for Jackson. See what happens this week, I think. I don't mind that as a move. I'm hopeful Jackson will keep starting for Chelsea because I think he's a really nice option to go into. I don't have him in my team, but he feels like a good option. Fundles will get to you, mate, just a sec. But yeah, I think just see if Maresca did say he'd make changes this week. It might be Nkunku gets a start. 1,000 subs by Feb. Yeah, that's the dream, Finnis. Let's go for that. 1,000 subs by Feb. Yeah, guys, give us a sub if you're enjoying the comments and I'm helping. Like the video. Hopefully you can get out to more people. Yeah, I think Wood against Everton's actually a nice fixture for him. So I think wait and see for next week. Everton and then Wolves, both nice fixtures for Wood. If you're going to Jackson next week, they're up against Palace, also a nice fixture, but let's just see who starts for Chelsea this week. I think Maresca's going to make some changes. And then you've also got that looming Cunha ban as well, so you probably want to try and keep 2 transfers if you can. I'd almost say you can make that defensive transfer from Burgess to Robinson as a priority. And then potentially just wait on the other transfer, try to roll, keep yourself with 2 transfers for maybe after the international break when Cunha is likely to get a ban. So I'd look for Lewis. Fundles, Digne to Munoz or JP to Mateta or both for a -4. Digne to Munoz. For me, don't do both for a -4. I don't think it's worth it. I think JP could easily return this week. I obviously sold him last week, but he makes me nervous, to be honest. Still, I don't think he's playing great in the number 9 role up front. I think he's better in the 10, but yeah, I would say Digne to Munoz is number 1. I think Southampton struggled offensively. I think that's a great chance at a 6-pointer. Yeah, could easily play JP. Ben, start 2, Rico, Lewis, Hull, Robinson. Do you have another Man City defender? Do you have Guardiola? If you have Guardiola, start Hull and Robinson. If you have not got another Man City defender, start Lewis and Robinson, I think. Madueke or Enzo? Enzo. Madueke might. I think Enzo's more likely to play. But I think it's tough. To make a call on that because obviously Maresca said he's going to make some changes this week. You don't really know what they're going to be. Yeah, I'd say play Enzo. Do you think Madueke comes off the bench? Should we have a look at that? What's he been like? If he doesn't play, does he normally come off the bench? Because otherwise then you can just start him. Yeah, he's got some of these sort of low minutes matches off the bench. Lavia is also still out, so I don't know what they would, unless they play like one holding midfielder as Caicedo, invert Gusto into the DM and play like João Felix with Palmer again. Could be interesting. They could do that. Like Maresca's obviously done that once before. Yeah. Safe Alcon, mate. I've activated my free hit by accident. Because that new app layout caught me off guard and I can't deactivate it now. Please, I'm freaking out. You can't. Can you actually not deactivate the free hit? This chip cannot be cancelled after you play it. Unless you have not yet made a transfer this game week. Have you made a transfer yet in the game week? Because if you have, then you can't deactivate it. If you have free hit and you can't change it, should we just do a a random free hit team? That's what I was thinking, Finners. Yeah, alright, let's do. I have before I activate the thing. Yeah, so you can't, unfortunately, you can't now deactivate it. It's safe. Mate, I tell you what, just for you, let's do a free hit team for the week. 7.7 mid, that's not Gordon and Bumo. He's up. That was my decision this week. And Bumo. Otherwise, Trossard at Arsenal. If you don't have Jesus, I don't love that though. Don't love that. All right, come on, let's do it. Free hit team. Look, Salah and Palmer are going to be in that team. Let's be honest. Isaac's going to be in that team as well, probably. Alright, best fixtures for goals. Cunha at Spurs. Rogue One. Erling Haaland. Let's see if we can fit him in the free hit team, because we can probably go really cheap on people that, like, you can definitely get a 3.9 mil goalie in there. For sure. Whatever the cheapest goalie is. Is there any 3.8s? No, only 3.9s. Martin probably starts for Brentford as well, so Flecken's probably out. I've got Mateo Solanke, I'm considering hard. Yeah, let's yeah, Mateo and Solanke. I mean, it's not, Solanke's not bad either. But I think these three are the best strikers. Salah and Palmer. Who have Liverpool got? West Ham. Is Haaland and Foden too rogue? Okay, yeah, I think so. Robinson. Yeah, Robinson. I do like Robinson. Yeah, but we can go super. Like, we can go like Trent. We can go like 1 week random gambles. Maybe like Gvardiol and Gabriel. That's probably my back four, just because they can score. Just because they can all score. And they're all going to play, so, I mean, the other defenders can just be nobodies. I'm sure we'll struggle to get, like, the numbers, but let's just give it a crack. Greaves probably plays this week. Any 3.8 defenders? No. Maybe we just go. Who else is 3.9? That might play. Don't know if any other 3.9s will play. Just chuck Johnson in there as well. In goal, best clean sheet, probably Sells against Everton. That is also another option. We go Nottingham Forest instead of like a Gabriel, or even instead of a Trent. We got 11.2 left. Alright, let's find someone. We just need 2 midfielders. What's a good fixture? Midfielders. Cheap midfielders. I like Munoz as well. I'm going to downgrade in a bit. Jota's not going to start this week. Don't go Jota. He won't start. I don't think he'll start. I don't think he's fit enough to start, based off the slots press conferences. Ahmad, you think Ahmad's going to score against Newcastle? I know that's a joke, Phyllis. I know you don't believe that. What about Enzo? I like Enzo. Enzo v Ipswich is a really good punt. And we're going to need a 3.9 mil or the cheapest midfielder possible, because we don't care about them. 4.3. Any chance of 4.2? I don't even see 4.2 in the game. 4.3. Sangari, you're in, mate. 1.8 left. Alright, we're gonna have to go down. It'll either be Alexander Arnold, Gabriel, or Guardiola. We'll get there though. Let's just find who we want in midfield. Who you want in midfield? Ismail Assar? It's got to be someone around 5 mil. Jacob Murphy, Ismail Assar. One of the two. Let's go Ismail Assar. I know I said Southampton are going to go well, but we want to attack highest upside, and Southampton having a shocker is probably more likely than United having a shocker. Yeah, I think so for a punt. I think so. So then we got to cut some money out of this team to keep Haaland. Who are we cutting? We got to cut the defenders, or we cut like a Cunha or an Isak. Gibbs White low key is an option. Gibbs White is low key an option. Do you know what? I haven't looked at him yet, but yeah, he's nice, isn't he? That is low key an option, I'm gonna have to think about that for next week's video. He might go in my watch list. Video. Let's get rid of Trent. Screw him. Let's put in all that aim up. And we got 2 mil still to cut. DR K34, we'll get to you, mate. We're just doing a free hit team. If anyone comes into this stream, they're going to be like, what the hell is this team? What are you doing? Wow. I don't think Jota will start. I really don't think he'll start. I think Luis Diaz will start in the number 9 role. Gakpo probably starts again. I just don't think he's fit enough to do it. And if he does, he'll play like 50-60 minutes. I don't think it's worth the punt on Jota. I really don't. Luis Diaz, on the other hand, if you want to punt on someone, go Luis Diaz. I think he's definitely going to start. If Jota starts, it will be Jota 9, Diaz left wing. Otherwise, Diaz will start at 9, Gakpo will start again on the left wing. Because Gakpo's been in such good form, I feel like they'll start him again. And then just take him off after 60. I think Diaz will start for 9. I would say 70% that's going to be the lineup. Yeah, man, I just feel like Haaland's going to be tough. Why don't we just do like no Haaland, and then this becomes like a Foden. And do something like that, and whatever with forward liners, I don't know. Anybody, basically anyone, and then that could still be Trent. I think that's probably what you're looking at, mate. Trent must go. Yeah, we have been Trent slaggers off on this channel, which is unbelievable. It's probably because he's trying to leave to Real Madrid. Saka replacement up to 9 million DR. Mate, my answer would be Gordon, Mbeumo. I assume Foden 9.2 is too much. Gordon and Mbeumo. Murphy, if you're not worried about minutes and you've got a good bench. Yeah. what my replacements would be. Bruno, not this week though. I brought in, if it helps, I brought in Gordon for Saka this week, DR. Thanks, Safe. Give us a sub, mate, if that was helpful for you. Like the vid. Thanks for joining. Sorry about the free hit. Hopefully you can make some progress out of it this week instead of having a nightmare. Luca, alright, mate. Back momentarily. Sales call. Sales call was actually completely tactical. Wasn't even a gut call. It was just the way Tottenham set up, and I said, didn't I, like Brennan Johnson started and Forest set up in the back four, they keep a clean sheet, or Spurs would struggle to break them down. That's exactly what happened. And should hire me as a consultant for the Spurs games. Luca, back momentarily. I'm almost sold on selling Bowen for Gordon now, and then switching them back around in 23 when Bowen plays Brentford and Gordon has City. Yeah, okay. I would say, like, have a look at Gordon's games from 28 through to 35. West Ham, Crystal Palace, Brentford, Leicester, United, Villa, Ipswich, Brighton. They're all really nice fixtures. So I think bring in Gordon, just hold him. Not explosive though. Don't expect him to be explosive, I think, is my call. But hopefully he will keep ticking along. Hopefully Newcastle will stay in form, mate. Hopefully they stay in form. But yeah, I think if you're already sold on selling him, make the sell. Isaac, what's up, mate? Colwell out for Lewis. Ain't Nuri for Gabriel. Foden for Saka. Tom Wakefield Smith, the Oracle. That's me, mate. I've got my crystal ball here. Here's my crystal ball. I just look into it, it tells me all the answers. That's my oracle ball. Changes colour as well. Here, I'll do the oracle ball for you, Luca. If it changes colour, then you need to transfer him out. Let's see what happens. I'll give it 5 seconds. If it doesn't change, then you're safe. Looks like it's not changing. Maybe you're safe. That's funny. I actually have control of the colour. I was trying to change it to so. Nah, just sub him out. Very true, maybe I cop inside JP. We finally come to an agreement, Luca, on just selling him, just cop him. You can't make the decision. Just bring in Gordon, bring him in. No, it's changed colour. It's gone to red. That's it. You got to bring in Gordon now. It's gone to red. The oracle has spoken. I don't know how it happened. I didn't even press a button. That is oracle behaviour. You gotta do it. The ball has spoken. The ball has spoken. Alright, let's talk about these. Don't take a minus 36. But do you want to know something interesting? And I wonder if I can pull this on the screen. Mo Salah plays FPL, and Mo Salah actually, I'm pretty sure, accidentally did this. And he took like a minus 32 in one of the game weeks, and it's still like, he's actually not doing so well anymore, but he was doing pretty well in fantasy for a while. Let me put this team up on the screen. Here we go. Mo Salah, he's lost it. He brought in Szoboszlai and shambles. Where is he overall rank? 2 mil. It's because of the Christmas tree. He scored, mate. He's not cursed. He scored. He's not cursed. I told you, don't believe in that stuff. But yeah, I can't remember what game week it was. I think it was like 6 or something. Yeah, here it is. Game week 2, he took a minus 36. He was funny. He was like almost top. I think he was like top 300, 400k for a while until probably Liverpool told him to stop making transfers. Because he had Diego Jota in there at the beginning of the season, which was really interesting because I felt like that was showing me that Jota was Liverpool's main number 9, and like they were confident that he was the number 9. So yeah, I think it's like sometimes you can get some insight from these guys' teams, which is interesting. And I have done a few reviews of players' teams. I will after Christmas probably get back to doing some of them. It's just been difficult with the turnaround time to get like ad hoc videos in there as well. Wouldn't be fair for him to be banging all the goals and the FPL points. Yeah, you're right. Can't do it all. Can't do it all. So I had a worse rank than someone who took minus 36 for 15 game weeks. Yeah, so did I, mate. There was a point where I was going to do Mo Salah versus the English Aussie. He was like 1 point ahead of me for a while. And I was hurting because he'd taken a minus 36. Minus 4 for Raya, no, not for me. Zach, I'd probably go to Alisson if I was to go for a goalkeeper at the moment. I think Arsenal's nice defensive fixtures have kind of ended. They're not that amazing going forwards. I'm eventually going to get to talk about these blank and double game weeks in the chip strategy. I'm sure, just too much banter on the chat today. So let me try for a little while. In the cup, this is what we have: Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham. If there are like whoever makes that final will blank in game week 29. That means the team that they're playing against also will blank in game week 29. So those fixtures would be Arsenal v Chelsea, or if Newcastle win, it would be Newcastle v Crystal Palace. If Liverpool win, it would be Liverpool v Villa. And if Tottenham win, it would be Tottenham v Fulham. So those would be the blank game weeks. So let's say the favourites win, that would be Liverpool and Arsenal. The teams that would not be playing in game week 29 would be Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool and Aston Villa. So obviously you must chat by email about your thumbnails. I really do like them. I just think you wish there was more fire thumbnails. Hey, don't take offence to that. No, mate, I actually don't. Like, it's something that, like, I'm not. I told you, like, I'm not brilliant, like, with the graphic designs of stuff. I've been working really hard on trying to make my thumbnails a little bit better. They're slowly improving. I think you've probably seen, but yeah, mate, I could definitely do with the help. So hit me up. I have a proper email now for this account. I'll put it in the chat. Or I can just tell you, it's the English Aussie at outlook.com. Anyone that wants to hit me up for some like drop-ins on the show, if you're tactical experts for any teams, I'd love to have someone like that on like one of my videos that I can talk tactics with. I think that would be really insightful for a lot of the viewers. I think a lot of people that follow me for some good tactical insights on the games, as well as this great stuff on chip strategy. Alika, hey mate, new here, yet to ask, but when I'm trying to get you advice about dilemma I have. I'm considering selling Burn for Gordon and then starting, but could just bench Burn and start JP. Thoughts? Is this like accidentally copied and pasted what we've been talking about for a while? Isn't the answer selling for Gordon and start Gordon? Sell him, start Gordon. The Oracle spoke. The Oracle spoke. Yeah, finish. Help me out, mate. If you ping me an email, be great. I'll put it in the chat. Oh, you got it. Nice one. Finish is also the GOAT. He provides my background thumbnail, which I probably have somewhere on that slide. It'll come up. It'll come up. Now I can more easily get to it than in historic times. I know, I was joking, I'll confirm it now. All good, Luca, mate. Good luck this week. Oh man, I'm definitely supporting Anthony Gordon now after me getting concerned over it for a while. Yeah. Yeah, so talking about this sort of chip strategy before I quickly show you my amazing template created by subscribers. If anybody else is a graphic artist as well, hit me up. I'll give you creds. Look, these are Finna's creds. Just because I've been flirting with the transfer for hours now. Yeah, look, 36 minutes to the deadline, guys. So you've got to make your decisions ASAP at the moment. If you want some decisions to be made for you, I charge $1 for each Oracle Ball decision that's been made. I hope United concede 10 now. Yeah, mate, me too. Isak to score 5, Gordon to score 5. Hall can set up a few of them as well. Yeah, this is Finn's banner bottom left, the FPL's lifestyle, which is now my YouTube banner. Great artistic design, loved it, big fan of that. And these are my attacking and defensive fixture difficulty ratings, which hopefully can help you guys out. Also, when the fixture swings are to target for those. But yeah, on this sort of chip strategy, obviously in that sort of blank game week 29, you've got to consider whether you want to play your free hit or if you want to play your free hit in the big blank in 34. And doing it, Benji JP. He's going to deliver, mate. If he doesn't, then like everything that I've done has worked out as well. So if he does, Gordon doesn't deliver, then I'm going to be crying along with you, Luca. So you can take solace in the fact that we'll both be upset, if that helps in any way, shape or form. I'm at least being consistent with my decisions. I'll tell you to do something and I'm doing the same thing. Giving up on United season, focus on FPL. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like United season, maybe it will turn around transfer window, but I can't imagine they're going to do big business in January. I think they just need to get as high as they can, so in the summer they're able to make the transfers they need, that Amorim wants to bring in. And I think that's the problem with United at the moment, is they're not even making the top 4, so they aren't able to attract the talent that they want. And like honestly, biggest mistake sacking Mourinho. Like Mourinho was doing so well, and like you just seen how it's capitulated. And I did enjoy the Mourinho Guardiola back and forth, where he was basically like, yeah, if City do get sanctions handed down, hopefully they give me that Premier League title for Man United. Yeah, which was pretty amusing. I love a bit of Jose. Yeah, so the blanks are 29 and 34. That is when I would suggest using your free hit. Sorry to Safe, who can't use his free hit anymore due to the accidental click. But yeah, I'd probably suggest using your free hit in one of those weeks to sort of just be able to cover. Like if Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal and Villa all were out in one game week and blanking, that's probably half your team. Like I would expect around 29 you to have maybe 2 or 3 Liverpool assets. You probably have 1 at least or 2 Arsenal assets, and you probably hold Rodgers. So that's like 4 or 5 players. My only rule is that I'll always play my free hit in a double game week and not a blank. Well, let me talk about it. So this is one of my thoughts, right? And why that I suggest not to do that for this particular season. And the reason being is there's probably going to be 2 double game weeks. There's going to be a double in 33, and that's going to be these fixtures in 29 that were postponed. They'll probably get played in 33. That's the most likely timeline. If I flick back again to this fixture schedule, you can see 33 is where this is here is really the 1 week where there is like a midweek availability, depending on which teams get through. Like for example, if it's like Tottenham and Villa and they both go out of the European competitions, then they might be able to do like 31, 32. But assuming it's Arsenal and Liverpool and they both make the quarterfinals or semi-finals even, then 33 is probably most likely. Otherwise 31 and 32 have their chance if they don't do it. Yeah. So that's exactly where I'm going with this, Luca. Is I actually think that the best way to do it is to wildcard into bench boost in your double game week. So if you wildcard in 35, and game week 36 is going to be the big double most likely. Based off this, you'll have the 4 FA Cup semi-finals blanking in 34, and those will most likely get replayed in 36. So if they're all Premier League teams, that could be 8 teams that are blanking, which is hard to cover, and I'd probably play my free hit there in 34. And then in 35, I'd look to wildcard, and basically just wildcard into a team with 15 players that were doubling in 36. Then bench boost 15 players. That's a huge combination. You get basically 30 games, and then you just have to get through 37, 38 after that with like a, maybe, a bit too many players in your team. Have I used my triple captain yet? I'll use it on Salah in 25. Yeah, I haven't used it yet. And then my sort of next reasoning for that is I think these 3 weeks are the best weeks for the assistant manager chip, and I think that the sort of the small double game week is a nice week to use the assistant manager chip instead of the free hit, because you basically get 2 game weeks for your manager for that week. So say you brought in Slot for Liverpool for that week, and they won both games, then obviously he's pulling in like 12 points for those 2 wins, plus the goals scored, like 6 points each for each win, plus the points for goals scored, etc. Awesome Finners, I will definitely hit you up probably tomorrow. I'll try and do it after this stream, but it's going to be late, so I don't have time. Well, my buy, sell, hold video is probably the one that's going to come out first at the moment. I'll do buy, sell, hold this week straight after the games. It might be too soon. I might have to put out the video before I see your thumbnails. And then after that, I'm probably going to do like the tactics and stats one, the tactical and statistical observations. And then if I have time in the week, I'll do the watch list. But I mean, that one is sort of like depending on work for me in the week. 'Cause I don't have the luxury of these other content creators of going full-time content creating at the moment. Yeah, so that was sort of my thought, Luca, is you use that assistant manager chip, and check out my assistant manager chip videos as well. Can you just let me know some of the players you'd like to be in the face of the thumbnail? We'll go from there. Sure, I will. Yeah, Luca, hopefully that's helpful, mate. And then my triple captain I was going to use in 25 in the double game week for Salah. Which I think is what we said was most likely the game week for it to be in, just based off the fixture schedules. Again, if you look at these fixture schedules. Liverpool obviously made the semis of the EFL Cup, so therefore like that sort of 24 midweek is being taken, and I kind of expect them to also they also probably make round 4 of the FA Cup. So really they have like this midweek between the 8th, the FA Cup round 4 week and the start of 25. It could be played in 24, that double could be 24, or it'll be 25 here in the midweek, because Liverpool will I think have made the top 8 of the Champions League, so they won't play in this knockout round and they'll just play in the last 16, so they have game week. Yeah, 28 minutes to the deadline, guys. Well, alongside Marbo, can you please show us how your current team looks like? Are you planning to make any more transfers before the deadline? I'll put it up right now for you, mate. I'm not planning to make any more transfers before the deadline. I have made my transfer. I'm not that dramatic to make it like right before the deadline. I did make it on stream, but that was mostly because we were talking about it and I was talking to you guys about it. So this is my team currently. Bear with me. Okay, I need to come over the when we catch you in the next stream. Nice one, Luca. Good luck this week. 2 Palace defenders against Southampton at home. Is it risky? Nah, it's a good. I mean, yeah, but nah, it's good. I like it. Who are you going with? Henderson in goal. I think Southampton like as bad as, or well, no, not as bad as Everton, but up there with Everton for worst defences, worst attacks at the moment. Thanks, Luca. I appreciate your comments, mate. It's been nice. It's nice having you on the stream today. Really good chats. Good luck this week. Hope it goes well. I'm going to be terrified of Gordon failing me and JP not failing when I wake up in the morning. Is it this? Are they tonight? Tomorrow. Brighton tomorrow. Oh, that's tomorrow. Okay, I've got another night to be scared. Sar or Enzo, unless you've got Palmer and Jackson, then Sar. Solid lineup, mate. Thanks, one. Yeah, I don't know. I need some things to come off for my team, really. Like, there's a few things that would be nice. Like, Gabby Jesus scoring some goals would be nice. Gordon would be nice, and Man City learning how to keep a clean sheet would be lovely. But yeah, I mean, realistically, like, I really liked where my team was before that Saka injury, and I just think that like it's really hard to pick in the midfield. But like, I think at this stage of the season, this is now when you're going to see differential options come in. And there'll be quite a lot of variance over the upcoming weeks. So I think it's just sort of, you've got to pick who you think is the best option. Unfortunately for me, normally I feel like there's one that is definitely the option, and people just like maybe have not gone for them, or they have gone for them. And I felt that way with Jesus for a while. And then I watched that game against Ipswich and I was like, oh no, Arteta is like not looking to be aggressive. And then like, obviously took Jesus off after 70 minutes and brought on a Marino, which was quite a defensive move in the game against Ipswich. You thought you want them to kill off the game second goal, but they actually sat back and tried to defend the 1-0 lead. And like, you think you'd want to give him more confidence. Like, he scored 5 goals in the 2 games before. Like, you want him to get on the score sheet. So I mean, that was a bit sad. That sort of made me feel a little bit less positive about that Jesus move. I thought that was a real big sort of upside move. That was a bit of a gamble, but João Pedro wasn't performing for me, so I thought let's do it. And then the Saka move, obviously, to Gordon, I think is really difficult to pick. I think Foden like obviously looks like the biggest upside, but Man City, yeah, you just can't call it with them whether they're going to be good attacking, good defensive, when it's going to come. Is this the bottom? Is this the time to get in on them, or is De Bruyne going to come back in? Foden's going to get dropped. Like who knows what's going to happen with that. Odegaard I didn't go for because I had Jesus and I didn't want to double up on Arsenal having watched them against Ipswich. Otherwise he'd probably be an option in the midfield. Same goes for Trossard. I prefer Trossard over Martinelli, especially with Sterling out. And then yeah, I just landed between, I had sort of Gordon, Murphy, Leo Scott, please rate my team. Alisson, Fabianski, Gabriel, Thierry, Guardiola, Hall, Aina, Palmer, Salah, Rodgers. Sar, Enzo, Isaac, Jackson, Pedro. It feels like you've got so many people. Do you have your team idea? I don't know how much money you have for transfers. I can put it in and then pull it up on screen. Otherwise, I'll just guess. That's okay. I would start Gabriel, Trent, Guardiola. Oh, Aina, sorry. I would start. That's tough. Start Trent, Guardiola, Aina. I'd start Palmer, Salah, Rodgers, Sarr, Isaac, Jackson, João Pedro. The reason for that is I don't want to triple up on Chelsea in your team. So I would prefer to not have Enzo, Palmer and Jackson all in the side. Bench one, Dan Murphy. Hopefully that's helpful, Leo. If it was, help us out, give us a sub and like the video. Dan Murphy. Danny Murphy? Or Daniel? No, Danny Murphy. Danny Murphy, ex-Liverpool midfielder. Great player. Bench one, Timber, Trent, Aina, Cole, Hall. Not Aina, not Timber, not Trent. Cole. I just think lower upside, and I think like at the moment we're sort of searching for upsides. I think the clean sheets are so hard to pick that you want to be going for defenders with more upside. And I think like the way I think about it is, Aina, the clean sheet is probably the best out of all of them. Like as Everton's one way you can probably be hopeful of a clean sheet. Trent's been playing a little bit more higher in the recent weeks. Plus Liverpool clean sheet is a good potential against West Ham. He played in a high position against Tottenham, which I thought was a tactical to counter Tottenham, but then he started in the first half in that Klopp role against Leicester, but then dropped back into a more defensive role in the second half. Gvardiol, obviously attacking returns plus potential for clean sheet. Gabriel, just attacking returns. Arsenal so good on corners. Hull versus Murphy. Sorry, I'm just misreading things. Yeah, so sorry. I think Trent attacking returns. Aina, Everton, Hull v Colwill is like best upside. Colwill obviously at Chelsea doesn't really have a lot of attacking upside in that. Whereas Hull's been linking up nicely with Gordon down that left-hand side. So I just prefer him, to be honest. Cool. I think I finished the chat on chip strategy eventually. So hopefully that sort of helps you guys. Those are the game weeks that I think. If you want more details on it, go and view my chip strategy video on my channel. It's about 3.5k views on that, so I think quite a popular video for people. Yeah, so go and have a look at that one. What else did I want to... Yeah, we haven't really gone through the tactical observations. Maybe all of you guys have watched my videos already, so no need to do it. But yeah, I mean, 20 minutes to deadline now. Probably going to be mostly answering questions on teams, giving my opinions on any of you guys. Now, good. I'd like to see the female contingent in my streams. I've been male dominated here. It's good to see you now. Thanks for joining. Salah versus Palmer for captaincy. I talked about this a little bit earlier. Basically what my sort of discussion points were mostly around a couple of things. So I personally think Salah, and the reason being is twofold. So West Ham currently have Souček and Rodriguez suspended, and Soler probably unlikely to play. Paqueta obviously returns, but those three were their starting midfielders last week. So that's three in the middle that are missing for West Ham. And Souček's really important in terms of their sort of when they play those long balls to sort of relieve the pressure, Souček's the one getting on the end of those headers, nodding them down, flicking them on to, you know, Bowens and Kudus's and Somerville's who are running on past that. So losing that just, I feel like, makes it more difficult for West Ham retaining possession. They're not sort of the team that play out as much. They sort of play a little bit more direct, try and get it to sort of the Bowens and sort of then play out from there. So I think Liverpool having that sort of form of possession means that they have more opportunities to get Salah the ball and get him chances, one-on-one positions, etc. Then the Palmer side of it is against, like, if we look at Palmer's sort of returns, last week against Fulham, they didn't really man mark Palmer. And in games gone by, a lot of the teams have started to man mark Palmer. Fulham played like a little box four in the middle. Like they basically played super high wing backs as well. And they played like a 5-4-1 in defence and like 3-4-3 almost attacking. Ian Q, get to you in a second, mate. Sorry. Or maybe the quick answer is Isak or Jackson or Wood. I would rather play Isak and then Jackson and then Wood. Yeah, so on the Palmer thing, and so then before that, like the game week before, and in some of the previous weeks, teams have been starting to implement like the man marking of Palmer, and what's happened there is Maresca's got Palmer to drift out to the right, Enzo to shift forwards from defensive midfield into that attacking midfield role and pick up and occupy that space. And that's why Enzo's been so good lately, is he's been really sort of occupying the space that's been opened up by Palmer from getting wider. And if I was Ipswich and I saw Palmer play against Fulham, he was picking up spaces in between the lines when they were playing that box because they weren't man marking him, and he was so much more dangerous. And I think that was one of the reasons he scored that goal against Fulham. So if I was the Ipswich manager, I would go back to that sort of like the man marking thing, which probably to me makes Enzo a little bit nicer, and also just I think makes it a little bit more difficult for Palmer to then pick up the spaces in between the lines where he's so successful and so dangerous. And I think then he becomes a little bit more of an assist threat and a little bit less of a goal threat, which for me makes me think Salah's a slightly better option as captain. That's my sort of thoughts now, and why I've gone for Salah this week. Hopefully that's helpful. If it was, give us a sub, like the video. I really appreciate that. We're just a small channel. I'm trying to grow at the moment, so hopefully the sort of tactical analysis side will help you guys future weeks. Ian Q, which to play? No worries. Which to play, Hull or Milenkovic? Milenkovic against Everton for sure. I think Everton are not a very good attacking team, and the fact that City didn't keep a clean sheet against them last week drove me insane. We'll do like and subscribe. Thanks, Nat. Really appreciate that. Good luck this game week. Guys, also, if you want any team reviews done, post your team ID in the chat. I will put the team on screen if that's what you are after. We can go through like discussions on your team. Yeah, I think Everton not great offensively, mate. Hull obviously has a little bit of attacking threat as well, but Milenkovic is a beast off corners for the Forest. And I know probably Everton are going to be good at defending corners, so maybe he's not that attacking threat in this game. But for clean sheet, make sure you all subscribe. Yeah, thanks, Ian. Appreciate you, mate. Good luck this week as well. Guys, 13 minutes left to the deadline, so make sure you get all your transfers done. If you have any questions on what you should be doing, put them in the chat now. If you want your teams looked at, chuck your team ID in the chat and I will look at them now. B.33, who would you bench, Gakpo or Rodgers? Ooh, that is the first time anyone's asked me that one. My honest thought is Diaz starts at the 9, Gakpo starts on the left wing, so I'd bench Rodgers. But you'll have to trust me for that. Look, there's obviously a chance that doesn't happen. But if that doesn't happen, it's going to be because Jota starts at the 9 and Luis Diaz starts left wing. Diaz is defo going to start. The fear with Gakpo is him not starting, Jota starting at 9 and Diaz starting left wing. I think Gakpo's been in really good form for Liverpool lately, and I think Jota's not quite fit enough to start the game. Therefore, I think he'll start left wing, and Diaz will start in the 9 this week for Darwin. So I think I'd go Gakpo, bench Rodgers. Yeah, Gakpo has been on fire lately, but if anybody that, like, I don't understand how the defenders don't know how to play him. Like, all he does is cut on his right foot. And, like, honestly, if I played right back against Gakpo, he'd never score a goal. Never. Just send him down on his left foot. Just send him on his left foot. All he does is cut inside. I watched that goal he scored last week against Leicester, and I'm just like, man, do they not watch videos of these players play? Like, just send him down the line. Like, that, he is, like, and just, oh my God, send him down the line. Anyway. No, please don't send him down the line. I love to see him score goals, so yeah, just keep him going. Teams are too focused on Haaland. What do you mean? What do you mean? As in playing against Man City, it's working. Being focused on Haaland, he's doing nothing. Neither any of them. To be honest, like the teams that are playing against Man City, like are what we talked about, and I'll finally get this sort of tactical observations back up on the stream. Basically, teams that have been playing against Man City, I don't know whether I actually called it out in this thing, but I didn't. I should talk about this. Is what they're doing is they're playing a really narrow box defensively. They're playing like what Fulham played last week against Chelsea, and who played Man City the week before? Everton. Who was the week before that? Because the team did it again. Villa. They played that super narrow like box midfield against them, and Man City for some reason are not playing with which would I rather play in? Other teams are studying Haaland, not Gakpo. Yeah, I mean, but if you're playing against Liverpool, surely you look at their players and you realise Gakpo just cuts on his right foot and shoots every time it curls in the far corner. Even the goalie should know. No, actually, to be fair, sometimes he shoots front post. Which would I rather play, Rodgers or Sarr? Rodgers. Rodgers, because I think Southampton defence is not as bad as people make it out under the new manager with 5 at the back. They're actually a good defence, and they've shown it throughout the season that the times they've given away goals is because they've been playing out from the back. They caused City a lot of problems with that 5 at the back. They caused Liverpool a lot of problems with that 5 at the back. The goals that they scored against them was because they were playing out from the back. Now Ramsdale's going long. He's going long into like Paul on Uachu. Can't pronounce the name, but he's been going long into him. Who's been actually winning headers because he's like a 9'12" monster. And that's actually allowed Southampton to sort of get a bit more possession in the middle as well. So they're probably getting maybe not as good possession, but close to the same possession by going a little bit longer sometimes and just playing a bit safer. And their low block with 5 at the back is hard to break down. So Sarr's not going to have that space to run in behind. So I'd go Rodgers. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful, B-Dot. Like and sub, would appreciate it. Yeah, sorry, Man City. Yeah, teams have been playing like really narrow boxes in the midfield against them, and they I don't know what, like they don't just play wide and like cross it. Like they used to play, and I don't know if you guys remember with like even I mean going back as far as like the Sterling Mahrez days, their wingers would play like either super wide touchline, or they'd like get inside a little bit, but like be in the box to then play the cutbacks. But at the moment, like it just feels like their wingers are just like hovering outside the box, but not really crossing in. Is Trent Price is worth it? No, Trent's price is not worth it. He is not worth his money at all. 7 million is way too much for what he will return for you. But he's basically playing in a Liverpool team where your other options in that defence is Van Dijk, Robertson, or he won't go for free in the summer. Oh, sorry, in the summer, yeah. That's why there's like a weird part of me that feels like I don't think it will happen, but Liverpool almost like might just sell him in Jam to get some money out of him. But he's not like if I was Trent, like, I wouldn't want to leave. Liverpool top of the league. Yeah, so sorry, my thoughts on that Trent price point is no, his price is too much, but like he's still somebody that closer to that game week 24-25. I'd definitely like look at getting in over the double, because over the double, like he does have the opportunity for upside, but as I've spoken about previously, like in my videos, like he's not been playing the same role that he played under Klopp, that high role on the right hand side. But the last 2 game weeks, he's playing much more defensively and hasn't had like sold Smith Rowe for Sarr. Yeah, that's good. That's fine. No stress. I would do that. I'm just saying, like Sarr, Rodgers. I'd go Rodgers. Yeah. So I was saying, like from a tactical perspective, he hasn't been picking up those high positions. Also, like Szoboszlai and McAllister have taken a few corners off him as well, and like his statistics and his expected assists have been really skewed based off like a few game weeks at the start of the season. Also, the fact that he was previously on a lot more corners. He still does take some. And like that 1 week where he came off the bench for 20 minutes when Liverpool were behind to specifically go forwards. But yeah, if you notice, like he only really takes up those positions when Liverpool were behind. Like Leicester scored early against them, he got shoved on forwards. He was creating chances in the first half. Second half, once Liverpool came back into the game, he went back into that more defensive right back role. So if he continues in that attacking role, which we've seen against Tottenham, which was a tactical thing because of how Tottenham play their like high wingers, high fullbacks, then he becomes more of a better option. But like I think at the moment he's a little bit overpriced based off the role he plays for Liverpool. But I think because of Saka's injury, there are funds now available in our team, and that like makes Trent an option. That there's not really a lot of like super high price players that are really good and like you should definitely have in your team. So for like a double game week for Liverpool, it would be nice to have. I'd even look to have Trent for that. So. I do have some plans going forwards to potentially move him into my team. What the best game week is for that yet, I'm not sure. I've got a couple of transfer plans over the next couple of weeks, which involve probably bringing in Robinson for Fulham first against Ipswich next week, and then maybe the next one after that is looking at Trent. But yeah, I mean my team's 5 minutes to deadline, by the way, guys. So just chuck in your questions right now if you have them, and I'll do quick fire answers. But yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on Trent. Like I've been saying for the last few weeks that he's a sell. Like before that Tottenham game, it was like sell. I think I was the only person in the world that was producing content that was going sell Trent, avoid Trent, get him out of your team. And since then, like I've been right pretty much. Like he hasn't really done that much. And then it was that Tottenham game where he Smith Rowe to Sarr. Yeah, I think that's fine. I like that, Jack. Smith Rowe's possible for this week. He might not start. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Please give a sub and a like to the video if that's helpful for you. Yeah, sorry. So Smith Rowe is not definitely playing this week. I'll quickly. And then yeah, Sarr is a nice option. Other options, Jacob Murphy, just quickly to call out if you're looking, and Enzo as well. Levu, hey mate, nice to see you. Best Bruno replacement, 1 free transfer, Anthony Gordon. I'll be quick with these answers, given there's 4 minutes to the deadline. You still able to tell me without dilemma? Yeah, Levu, but 3 minutes to deadline, so quick, chuck it in the chat now. And I'll give you my quick fire answers, guys. Sorry, I can't give more detail at the moment. Only 3 minutes, so you need to quickly make those transfers now. Only 3 minutes left to the deadline. What's your dilemma, Levu? I can't remember it. Maybe, do you need me to put your team ID in or something, or can you type it out quickly? You're stressing me out. Enzo, Timber, JP or Aina start? Aina definitely. Do you have Jackson and Palmer? If you have Jackson and Palmer, don't start Enzo. If you don't have Jackson and Palmer, start Enzo. So I'd start Aina and Enzo if you don't have Jackson and Palmer. And then out of Timber and JP, tough. JP. JP. Higher upside. One, 2, 7, 1, 5, 10. Whoa. I'm coming for you. 2 minutes deadline, guys. Also have Saliba. Play Saliba. Hakeem. Team looks good, mate. Play Sells, Trent, Milenkovic, Virgil, Salah, Sarr, Enzo, Odegaard, bench Iwobi, bench Hall, bench Saliba. Well, you could play Saliba over Virgil, to be honest. VVD. I think those two are interchangeable. If you don't trust Liverpool clean sheet, I think I'd rather Liverpool than Arsenal though. 1 minute to deadline, guys. Make your transfers. Hit that, click that button quickly. Levu, please get the transfers done in time and pick your team. Make sure you've started the correct guys in time. Best of luck this week, guys. I really hope everything goes well for you guys. There have been some tricky decisions this week, and I really do think that this is going to be the start of some movements and some difficult decisions going forward over the next few game weeks, which is probably good for me as a content creator in terms of interaction with you guys, but it's going to be difficult. Team locked in, VDOT, let's go, mate. Like to subscribe, appreciate you, thanks very much. Keep an eye out for the videos coming up this week. I'll do probably the buy, sell, hold, maybe tomorrow. I don't know how many games there are. That's it, guys. We're locked. We are locked. We are locked. Hopefully everyone has made their transfers. Game is updating. Game is updating. Look, I'll hang around for a bit, maybe like 10-15 minutes if anyone wants me to look at their teams and chat through. Otherwise it's midnight here and we'll be getting off if no one's keen to look at stuff. Cheers, Finners. You are the GOAT also, mate, for graphic design. What apps do I use to see it? This is FPL Gameweek that I use for teams. Team I like to check people's teams. Also, so you can see like how far off they are, certain ranks and stuff. You can see your mini leagues as well. Like for example, who was this? Was this you, Ian? Yeah, I can like look at your mini leagues and like you can see how you're doing in the mini leagues and stuff. It's updating. The app's updating, so the mini leagues won't show, but yeah, probably all of them. Yeah, mini leagues won't show at the moment, but maybe I'll show you that on the next stream. But yeah, it's pretty good. How to show current team ID number. Like I said, if you go in, you probably can't find it right now because the game's updating, but if you go in here and you go to points, and then in your website in your website link, you should be able to see it. It should be like a number that comes up here. That should be your team ID, like the www section. That's me and my Google searches for what's happening with Fabianski. No one really talked about it. And, you know, Lopetegui is the worst manager in the world at giving you injury updates. So, but it'll show you the team you had last week if I posted before, right? Yeah, it shows you the week that's currently active. So, like right here, I'm seeing your Game Week 18 team. You can't see transfers that people have made before the deadline. Like once the game updates, you'll immediately be able to see your Game Week 19 team and everybody else's Game Week 19 team. So if you want to go into your mini leagues and check everybody's team, you can like go in there and click through people's teams and see who they've got and what transfers they've made. Like you can like once this updates, you'll be able to click on transfers, see what people transfers they've made that week and whether it's worth making and stuff. Yeah, it's actually a really cool website. I like to use it, and that's what I've been using for you guys for the sort of team reviews, which I think people are liking. It's good because we can interact like very easily through this. Easy for me to see your guys' team, like how much money you have in the bank and stuff. This site offers more insight than FPL Live. Yeah, I use this over FPL Live. I don't really use live FPL that much. Like the good things that I would say that it is, I would say the price change predictor's the good thing with it. It does forecast price changes, but then like, the other thing you can also do is FPL statistics, which is also good at predicting price changes. Yeah, pretty interesting. I would definitely consider like making some early transfers this week. If any of the players that I want are going to go up in value, maybe like a Robinson or something like that. That's probably who I'm going for next week. I think live FPL is a little bit better for price changes, like estimating who's going to go up in the day. But FPL statistics is good. Philosophy question on FPL. Yeah, go for it, mate. I'm someone who uses I don't like to use Fantasy Football Hub because I feel like everybody promotes Fantasy Football Hub and there's actually loads of free resources that are available that you don't need to pay for. If you're going to pay someone, pay me. Once I get a big enough following, maybe. But yeah, I think Fantasy Football Hub's like just a waste of money. I don't think you need it. What's your philosophy question, Levi? There are a bunch of free good websites. I can show you, we can actually, maybe I will not do that, but I will show you a bunch of them. Can you finish top 10k by taking -4 every week and getting a 50 to 60% hit ratio? I think as in by 50 to let's say net positive 4 points. Yeah, but I would say no. I would actually say that I avoid -4s frequently because generally I feel like they're not beneficial to the team. Like mathematically working on it, it's quite unlikely that it will benefit you. And it needs to be like more thought out long term. Like if you take a -4 just to get one guy in on the week, they've basically got to get it. Like say like your normal player will just get 2 points. Like the person you get in has to get more than 6 points for it to be worth the hit, which you got to get that right every week. That's pretty tough. I think that's pretty tough to pick that call. And then like if you lose points one week, like the next week you've got to make back those points. You've got to keep making back those points. I would say generally -4s are more taken if you need to structure your team for the next few weeks and you're still wanting to make other transfers as well. Ian Q, thanks bro. Have a great game week. Thanks for joining. Been really good having you in the chat. So far it's been cheeks. Does that mean not good? Sorry, my knowledge of this stuff is... So the problem is, man, it's like I was in the UK and I knew all the slang, and I moved to Australia and then none of them understood any of the slang. And I learned Australian slang, and then all my mates in the UK are like, well, what's wrong with you? Why are you saying these stupid words? And so now I'm just accepted nowhere. I'm just my own hybrid. And I go to Cyprus and live with my mum's family. I lost my league just from -16 over the game weeks. Yeah, I would say -4s are not that great, mate. I'm like very against them generally. I think if you see in the chat when people ask me about -4s, I normally say, A, show me your team, because it's hard to just, like, if they just tell you the transfer, it's hard to know without looking at the rest of the team. And B, like, it's normally not a good idea. I think there's very rare situations that it works out. I've had one situation this year where it would have worked out for me, and I didn't do it, but that's probably the only time I've considered it, and it was more like I wanted to get Saka into my team at a point, and I was trying to work out whether to take a -4. I'd probably, yeah, I mean, last week was another week where there was probably potential for a -4, restructuring the team quite a lot from Saka, like maybe you needed to do it, but there's no like key big point scorer standout options. I feel like to take a -4, it's got to be for a big restructure. Other players I switched over lost me over 70 points. Saka killed me when I went Bruno. Yeah, I think with that you've got to be really confident that that player's going to be scoring, or like maybe they've got like 3 really good game weeks in a row, and like you want to get them in before their price rise, and you won't be able to afford them otherwise. Then sometimes you have to take that -4 just for the structure of your team. Like that's when I'd use it, but no, unless I predicted Gordon. I didn't take a -4 for Gordon. I was in this unless I predicted Gordon last week. I was talking about Jacob Murphy last week. I did talk about Jacob Murphy. He's been someone I've been talking about for a couple of weeks actually. Sort of no one was talking about him before, and then he scored those 2 goals against Leicester, and then I was like, you guys should think about putting him in. Like he's been looking really good for Newcastle even before that. That was supposed to be Aussie swag. Man, I don't know anything anymore. I don't know anything. I assumed what it meant. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it on the stream, but probably. Probably. Yeah, so I reckon like from a mathematical standpoint, -4 is generally not beneficial to your team. There are very rare options where they are. Yeah, some other like websites that I'll probably show you guys. This one is FBref. It's like fb.ref, and this is actually like probably the site where I think like the stats are really good. You can like filter by non-penalty expected goals and assists if you don't want to listen to all the content creators that only talk about stats, which is just like no tactical insight whatsoever. Do you know how long it would take me to do a video where I just talk to you about like, non-penalty expected goals and assists video? It would take me like 10 minutes. I literally just copy the data into a spreadsheet, it auto-flows through into my PowerPoint, and I just press record and I'll talk to you about the stats. It's like lowest effort videos ever is when they just talk about expected goals and assists. It's so easy. It's like actually putting the effort in to talk about like tactical observations, players that I always think about outside of like the stats and that sort of side of stuff, like talking about fixtures, when a good fixture swings and that sort of stuff is like way more effort. Anyway, so my first year of FPL, I think someone on my team value and pivots during the season will be on 1,700, 1,200 points right now. But it's fun to experiment and limit tests this year. Yeah, I think it's really good. Like something I've been thinking about, by the way, you do stats related work in real life, or you played this game for a while. I don't, like, I was good at like maths at school, but like for me I always felt the reason I actually took up doing content creating was I felt like I understood football pretty well, and I felt like there was like a bit of a niche missing in the content creator vibe, where they talk a lot about like all of the stuff that you can see, like, yeah, okay, I can see that these stats are good, and I can see on the like FPL fixture difficulty rating thing that it looks like they have good fixtures, but like for me it's like, well actually, like how do these fixtures match up on a tactical basis, and that's why I try to give these sort of like tactical observations on the teams, and then I also create my own like fixture difficulty trackers, which has taken me a while to put in a format to show you guys. And then obviously like captains, a lot of captain obvious copy and paste Andy. Yeah, now to be honest, like I used to watch Andy a lot many years ago, and like he's great. Obviously, like he spent a lot of time on his work and channels to put stuff in. I have to admit that this year some of his choices have been a bit rogue in his team, and I sometimes watch. I'm like, Andy, come on, man. But yeah, otherwise, thanks, Spinners. Appreciate you, mate. But yeah, I do like him. But yeah, so I just felt like that sort of like tactical side of stuff wasn't looked at as much. So I wanted to give sort of my own observations from the games and like what I saw. Oh no, not him. Maybe yeah. So like I kind of have a different approach to it. But no, like my work is I work in like planning and forecasting. So yeah, I guess I see like numbers and stuff. But I used to like stats at school for sure. But yeah, for me, like I played a lot of sport from when I was young. I played football a lot. I played a lot of other sports, so I feel I have a good understanding of the game. And like I used to be a defender, so I got coached a lot on the tactical like side of defending and where to be spatially. So I do see things when like formations change. And approaches change sometimes when I'm watching the game. That's cheeky. You think the time of the day these players play affects the game? Now people do say a lot about the 12:30 game, but I personally don't. I don't think it should. Like they train in the mornings. Like Liverpool, for example, train in the mornings, so like they shouldn't have a problem playing a 12:30 game rather than like a later game. But you know there are stuff out there that says 12:30 game, less goals and stuff. But personally, I don't see why there should be. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. There's a guy called Thinking Cap who incorporates this, but I've never seen it work. Every week Saka was like the best captain, like metric, and kept blanking. Yeah, Thinking Cap. I think I've seen some of his videos. Yeah, there's I don't think that like the expected points is a good way of picking your captains at all. I don't know if that's what you mean, if he does it like that, or if he does it from a bit of a tactical side. But there's obviously there's obviously a case to it, like, you think it's a good tactical matchup, but like, for example, when someone's in the form that Salah's in, you just got to be like, yeah, I mean, great, like maybe someone else has got a good tactical matchup, but Salah's just in insane form. If Liverpool even have a half decent game, it's hard to go against him. Thinking Cap. Let me just snipe his video quickly, just to see what you mean by that. Captain rankings. Third, Watkins v Brighton. Who's he gone for? Let's see. Salah 1, Palmer 2. Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. I don't know about third Watkins. Maybe. Wildcard captain Foden. That's interesting. So, like, what is his stuff like? He talks from this sort of tactical side rather than the like expected goals. Yeah, if so, like I think that's cool. No, he looks like my competition, to be honest. At the moment, he might beat me to 1k subscribers. How long has he been doing it for? You've watched over 400 hours, I reckon me, Jan, and maybe Praz seem most honest and have your own takes with frame of work. Yeah, Praz is super interesting. I think Praz is like an investment banker. So I think he has like mad detailed models behind stuff, which, yeah, man, I don't quite have that sort of level of modelling. I sort of like look into data a little bit, but yeah, I like Praz, to be honest. I think he's cool. Thinking Cap. How long have you been doing this, mate? Oh, he was doing it last season. Oh, he did it in the start of the season, so he's had a little bit more time to build the channel than me. Ah, that means I'm doing pretty well. I'm almost on 800 subscribers. John Bartra loves a hot take. Yeah, he does love a hot take. To be honest, mate, he's actually really good. I think he's really good. But he does go a bit rogue sometimes. I think because I think he wants to sort of give a hot take each week, and sometimes his captaincy choices are a little bit rogue, man. Sometimes you just gotta accept that Salah is goating at the moment and just go with Salah. But he does definitely give some interesting insights, for sure, I would say. Yeah, he gives his reasoning. I mean, obviously people have their own opinions. Like, sometimes I disagree with what he thinks. I think that's just the thing. But I mean, obviously you're not always going to agree. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I do agree with what he thinks. I think he definitely gives an interesting, different take as well. So definitely support him. I like to think like my content is quite good like that as well. I give a bit of a basis of why these things are. Yeah, for sure. Coming down to like what you guys want is important. That's why I did the team reviews here, because ultimately, like, you want to talk through the decisions. Like, if there's something that you're already set on, then you should go for that frame of mind. Like, if people have Haaland in their team, I'm not going to say sell Haaland. Like, I personally don't think it's the right decision. But if you've got him in your team, you should really be captaining him. Like, that's what he's there for. The upside. So you got to see it from everybody's team lens, which is why I like doing the team review, because I'll just look at it from your team view, and obviously incorporate the thoughts that I've had in over players that I've thought about. Like, there are players that I don't have in my team that I would like in, that when I see you guys' team, I can be like, oh yeah, this is who I would suggest. Like, I'm never going to make you come to my team, because like, ultimately, if my team was the best team every week, I'd be first in FPL. But you've got to make certain transfers. So if I could have a wildcard every week, I reckon I'd be first in FPL. I don't know if you played League, but this is like an OPGG rundown. No, my mates did though. Yeah, you're right, man. Actually, it's a good rundown. It's a good end to the stream. Like, probably no one's watching at this point anyway. But yeah, this is sort of like my detailed background thoughts on this, which, to be honest, would be awesome. Like, people should actually watch this bit of the stream. It's probably like the most insightful bit. Yeah, no, definitely. I like interacting with the viewers. So all you guys on stream, very good. Like, been a good stream. All right, guys. My brother put me on your screen. Well, thanks to your brother. Tell him to make sure he's subscribed as well. Yeah, if you got any more questions, let's run through. Otherwise, I don't know, what time's the games? How long have we got? Another hour. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be on stream that long. It's like 20 past midnight. I've got my mate coming over from England tomorrow, actually, so I don't know if I'll be streaming. Yeah, you too, Lee. Good luck this game week. Hope everything goes well. Everyone watching, thank you a lot for watching. Appreciate all your viewership. Please, if you like the video and you watched this far, give us a sub, like the video. Stay tuned for my videos coming out later this week. Should be at least buy, sell, hold, and the tactical and statistical observations. Let me know if you have any thoughts on like things that you'd like me to do as well going forwards. I obviously want to create content that my subscribers are interested in and want, so I'm happy to tailor it to that sort of stuff as well. If I have time, I'll do a watch list. If I don't, it will be 2 videos this week and maybe some quick shorts. But yeah, have a great game week, everyone. Let's go, Anthony Gordon. And no João Pedro return. That's going to come back to bite me later. FPL English Aussie out. See you later, guys. Thanks, Lee.